Flojo probably didn't get any sleep. Hey guys, welcome. I'm like, Flojo probably didn't get any sleep. Abram is on Miami time. Shout out, Abram is not here, y'all. Somebody go wake up Abram. His alarm is going off, and he's not. And it's 12:30 over there, so I don't know why he wouldn't be awake.
Oh, I need to mute the TV because it's playing your video, so I'll be right back.
Oh, do your thing. Oh my gosh. Wow. So what did you think about yesterday's, arguments and everything?
I mean, I think that was the day that defense tried to poke the biggest holes into things, into at least accountability and stuff like that. But it doesn't take away, in my opinion, from the defendant who this case is about and what they did in their actions. Regardless of who knew or what, the charges are the charges, and that's that. You can say many people have failed Celeste, but they're not on trial right now. There's one person at that defendant table, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, for sure. I think there was a lot of, but expect them, right? At the end of the day, if you are on that other side, you want a defense to do what they have to do. There's Abram. Abram, we're like, you're on Miami time. That's why you're late.
And that's that. You can say many people have failed Celeste.
We'll allow you to mute your TV. We could hear it.
Yeah. I did now.
What did you think? What did you guys think about yesterday in the closing arguments? We were talking about, not the closing arguments. I'm sorry, like just with the defense and everything overall.
Where we left off.
I think after reading the transcripts, it was kind of clear as to some of the stuff we've been hearing. And what I mean by that is, just a clarification on who signed what, who was aware of what, more specifically, like the notarized document. I thought it was only one person, and then we learned yesterday there were actually two. So it's a little surprised to hear that.
Yeah. Oh man. It's one of those things. Yeah, because it's like, I'm still trying to let this kind of sit with me a little bit so I can marinate. There's a lot of things that I have, and a lot of these for me, and I'm trying to be very careful so I don't do a lot of what we call in social work counter-transference. I'm sure you guys have probably heard that term before. Counter-transference, where it's like I have to be able to put things into compartments. And actually, that was when I worked in government, that helped me out a lot, because there was a lot of cases that I would see, like severe abuse cases, by parent, guardian, extreme. And there's some stuff that I will never be like, I realize that in the field, there's just some stuff that I'll never be able to consolidate with. And every once in a while I hear of a case, and this is why I tell everybody, I've told, the chat before, I can't really talk about child abuse cases like that because it triggers something in me. I don't know what it is, that it just takes me back to a time where I don't like it, and I wasn't dealing with it very well. And it's my boundary. So that was one of the things that I wanted to make sure I didn't do. So I'm very selective about these cases. Like hell, even in the Melody Buzzard case, that was severe, man. That right there, I was like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that one. I think you are. Are you familiar with that one?
Yeah.
Melody Buzzard?
Yeah. The little girl.
The little girl, and there's a hearing in September, I think, with mom or
soon,
something like that. Yeah. There's
the lying in wait charge as well.
Yeah.
On a kid.
She has a lying in wait charge too. That they found that shotgun casing. I think they found it in her car or something like that, or
in the rental car. Yeah.
That was insane. That case pulled everybody, and
just the odd circumstances, the whole wearing of the wig, it was just odd, right?
Yeah. It truly, really sad situation. Also, her prior department involvement, the fact that she had her rights terminated on her oldest child. Her oldest child escaped what, the younger child couldn't. That is sad in itself. This lady, severe mental health or not, there were so many things that they could have done that were preventative. Another example of where the department should be sued, honestly. Now you have Emmanuel Jarro, his anniversary is coming up, guys. I think if I remember correctly, was it the 14th of the 8th or the 14th, around those time frames, like between the 1st and the 14th. Emmanuel Jarro from Yucaipa, California, the Big Five, hola, that situation, like
Mimi Torres. I've covered a lot of kids this year. They have an 8-year-old that I've been covering in little it's in LA, a little bit in the Compton area, and the people on trial for his death are the mother, the father, and the stepmother, and he wound up in a freezer at the end of the day.
Oh my God.
And to the fact that he was hidden so well that people didn't even know his name or have photos until family sent me photos to share, because they didn't want people to forget the kid's name.
Oh my
But a
God.
lot of
so
the
sad.
cases I've covered this year with the abuse, and it's not to say anything against homeschooling. In Connecticut, with the Mimi case, was passing a law to try to close some loopholes. Was parents and people pulling their kids away from eyes that are mandated to report on them.
Yeah.
So that they could abuse them and homeschool them, but they weren't homeschooling them. They were just getting them away from mandated reporters.
There needs to be better oversight in homeschooling, because it's just crazy. Like, somebody should be, be checking up on these people to make sure that the home environment is a place where our kid can thrive. Because if not,
Mm-hmm.
And it
You're
worked
right.
in Melody Buzzard's case, because that's how they realized so soon that she was at least missing. They're the ones who said, "Where's this kid? She hasn't shown
Where
up."
is she?
Yeah. There's been many other cases where they haven't done that, but in that case, somebody said something.
What people fail to realize, and again, I'm not trying to throw anything out there, but this is because I had the experience, with working in the department. A lot of people don't realize that a lot of the kids that go to school, that's the only meal that they're going to have throughout the day, or the only level of supervision, or the only social interaction that they'll have, right, before going home. And so some kids, it's like they struggle going home or whatever it may be. Like, there is something to be said there. I mean, when the C-19 was happening, the fact that I had, first of all, shout out to the teachers, because I literally could not homeschool my child. If I can't get myself on task, somehow I had to get my two at the time, baby Buddy wasn't even born yet. I had to get my 2 children on a school curriculum. I'm like, I can't even get myself on a curriculum. What is happening?
Just
So
on a teacher side too, right? Because I was in education during C-19 too, and just the transition of having students
oh my
practice
God.
what they did in nursing school and then try to transition and do that all in home just made it so difficult.
And I have, again, if people can do it, it's not, I've always said nothing like wrong with it, but it's not about the people that do it right. It's always about the people that are doing it wrong. And if you can save one kid by doing a quick, hey, you good? Everyone good here? We have everyone accounted for. Everyone looks healthy. Great. Move. Like, if you're not doing anything wrong, you have nothing to worry about. That's not it. It's not against your beliefs or your choice for schooling ever. It is about the kids that do not have that oversight, that need to be saved. So I know, because some people get super defensive, but like, if you can do it, by all means, that's incredible. But there's some people that use that. They take advantage of it because it's a loophole for them.
Absolutely. I agree. I was going to tell you guys anyway. So side note, we'll talk a little bit more about that as we've been kind of talking about these transcripts and everything that's been happening. I wanted to tell you guys, so there's there's a total of 4, but one case specifically out of LA County. It's not on trial yet. It's at the very preliminary infancy stages of going to trial. I'm thinking it's going to be very big, and I'm keeping my eye on it. I'm not going to announce which one it is yet that I'm looking at as well, but that's also going to be a very interesting young group of people as well, in a horrific situation. There's going to be a lot of drama in that case too. So we're going to cover that one. I won't say what it is yet. I'm also calling people and organizing things over there for, we have the trial of KVD for the murder of Tupac Shakur. So there's that one. That one's also going to be one that I want to look into. And I got family in Vegas, so I'm calling and see what we can do. Let me let the people know that we're live now. There's some other ones too that I'm looking at. So I'm just putting that on everybody's radar, so that we can get on that coverage. But if any of those cases interest you, let me put this on the Discord. Good morning, everybody. We live now. Wake up, get your coffee. So yeah, can't wait for that one. Yeah, so that one starts. So I have an appointment on, I believe jury selection is August 10th. I have an appointment that day, but for the rest of the trial, we'll be live streaming after. We might live stream on the 10th, but not the whole day because I have other stuff happening that day. But yeah, that'll keep us. That's going to keep us busy in August. And then Luigi Mangione is another one that I want to look into as well, but it's going to be further down. The other one too, the American Idol guy that, set up a robbery at his house. I think he's out of Ohio. What's his name? His name is Caleb something, anyways, set up a whole robbery at his trial. Hey, Caleb something. This is how unmemorable. He went to American Idol. Unmemorable. He'll be remembered for the murder and maybe for the, American Idol editions. Maybe. I don't know.
Someone with he shot his wife.
He shot his wife. I forgot. It's like Caleb something. Yeah. He set it up as a robbery and he's like, it was so weird. Like he just walked
and then
into
that phone call, the 911 call.
Yes. Go ahead. I'm take a call. We haven't started yet. The 911 phone call where it's like, this is like a whole confessional. If I'm hearing this and I'm the jury, it's crazy work. But there's another big one that's happening in LA County in Los Angeles. So I'll probably talk to you guys behind the scene. I don't know if you guys have heard it. Another group of Gen Z individuals. Shout out to the Gen Zs. Hopefully they'll take care of us and not put us away or something.
We're working on that.
We're working. Some of them are so mad. I know I'd be getting on I have some Gen Z siblings. I'd be getting on their nerves all the time. So, oh my God. Ooh, excuse me. But yes, let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Shout out to everybody, guys. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button. Do me a favor. And we put the Street Taco support up there. Feed the readers with their Cash Apps. They're all pinned in there. Also, channels are in the description box. Check these creators out. Amazing true crime creators. Amazing commentators. By the way, I do want to tell you guys that with Baby Bunny getting older, I mean, I had been talking about this since last year, and I feel like we're going to make that transition pretty soon. We're really going to be doing a lot of live panels on this channel where we're covering a lot of these cases and we're hearing, because I love how Court TV plays their stuff, but it's like just a trial. And I'm like, there's so many opinions. We're some opinionated people. Sometimes we're very wrong, but sometimes we're very right. So it's like, I want to allow the opportunity for people to, we want to do more panel shows. At least I want to. I think I like that conversation. I miss that. So we're going to be doing that. We'll probably be moving more towards that at some point. And then, so make sure you guys check us out. Y'all ready? Let me know. But you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Cool.
I'm going to grab my drink real quick.
Grab your drink. Go do that. We got time. You know what? I'm going to play the disclaimer. Let's do that while we wait. Here we go. Hello, everyone. Please note that this broadcast is strictly for educational, documentary, scientific, and artistic purposes. It falls under the EDSA. While the themes, imagery, or discussions may touch upon some graphic, sensitive, or challenging topics, the context is entirely analytical and educational. This stream does not encourage any kind of behavior or any acts, but rather provides critical analysis and historical documentation. In particular, we talk about a range of topics that fall under EDSA. Thank you for watching, guys. And make sure you hit the like button. All right. So that was keeping it cute. Give Joe a couple minutes more. You'll be here? Yes. I mean, I don't know if they're going to allow cameras. I got to find out. I hope that they allow cameras in there. Because listen, we could restream a couple things here and there with that one. I'm here for it. Hopefully they allow cameras in the KVD and Tupac. We got to get the book. I don't know if they sell it in audibles, but the book is another one too, where they got his confession or whatever with that situation. So we need to do a refresher on that trial. But anyways, y'all ready? Let me know.
Yeah. What page
Where
are
did
we
we
on?
leave off? I think we are in page 36. And no, not 36. Lord have mercy. That was when I was looking at stuff. Hold on.
53?
52, 53.
52, 53? Yes.
52, 53.
I always mark it and then lose it.
Yeah, 53.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they received everything into exhibit. They're
right.
giving
Yeah, and then
time
I
to go
think
prepare. So recess. 54, you go back on the record.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
so. I go first, right?
Yes, I might have to. Joe, can you see this? I'm gonna zoom out a little bit more because it might be a little bit. Is this good? Okay. You're back on the record. Go ahead. Oh, hold up, guys. We are day 5, closing arguments. You guys know who everybody is here. I'm Beth, Mother effing Silverman. We have. Go ahead, Joe. You're below me.
I'm the defense.
I'm now in the
Perfect.
gallery because I've testified on stand. So
On behalf of everyone, and I'm the judge. Shh, Rocco. Stop.
And Rocco's
Sorry,
the judge's pet.
Shh, be quiet. Okay.
judicial
So
assistant.
yes,
There you go.
He's saying order in the court. That's what he's saying.
Okay.
Ms. Silverman, would you like 5 to 10 minutes? And I can extend our break just a little bit. I apologize.
Oh, what page are I'm why do I see 54?
No, yeah, I think we're on 54.
Okay.
Oh, I thought it
I'm
was
sorry.
53. Okay, you're
No,
right. Yeah.
good. Go ahead.
Okay. So, but which line? 5? Oh, just
We
one.
are-
Okay. All right. We're back
just
on the record, and we have Mr. Burke present, all counsel present. And at this point, I'm assuming there's going to be a defense motion.
Yes.
Okay, so generally, since it's a defense motion, I'll have the moving party go first, the opposing party, and moving party gets the last word. All right.
On behalf of David Burke, we make a motion for insufficiency on all counts, all elements, and the special circumstances based on the evidence. We oppose a holding order on all those counts and elements and special circumstances. I'm going to focus my oral argument to the court on 5 issues. I don't mean to imply that I'm waiving any other sufficiency arguments, but my focus will be on 5 different issues. On count 1, the murder count under 187A, it's required that the prosecution present sufficient proof of malice aforethought. Now, after multiple days of testimony, they produced, at most, evidence that a young woman's body was dismembered, transported, and concealed, that her DNA, presumptively blood, was found in a garage at his residence and in the lower trunk compartment of his car that traveled north back. This presumptive blood evidence is consistent with dismemberment of a body in a cut-up pool. And while this evidence circumstantially supports concealment of a death, it's not evidence of a killing, much less of a killing by this defendant with malice. This circumstantial evidence, the blood evidence, does not support the requisite intent of malice aforethought. And without malice, the DA may have circumstantial evidence for a type of homicide occurring, but not a 187A by this defendant. The law recognizes 2 forms of malice, and those are defined in Penal Code 188 by statute. Here, where the evidence presented proves neither. There is no murder. Express malice requires a manifested deliberate intention to take away life unlawfully. There's no evidence here that supported that Mr. Burke harbored a deliberate intention to kill Ms. Hernandez. The prosecution put on, I don't know how many pages it was, but Exhibit 48 was text spanning 17 months. There is no statement of intent by him anywhere to harm her, no threat, no evidence of history of violence by him, no hostility from him to her. And in fact, the relationship evidence elicited both through the text and other evidence elicited through Detective Farrell about the interactions of the family show the opposite of homicidal animus. He repeatedly expressed his love and care for Ms. Hernandez, even when they broke up, continued to support her. Implied malice arises, meaning emotional support. Now, I'm not suggesting anything otherwise. Implied malice arises when no considerable provocation appears, and this is written into statute 188A2, when no considerable provocation appears or when circumstances attending a killing show an abandoned and malignant heart. Here, the evidence shows there was, in fact, considerable provocation in the form of Ms. Hernandez's jealousy-driven argument and her multiple threats on his life. We heard the threat she made to him on April 23rd before coming to his house. The text in which she says, "Oh my effing God, I swear to God, I will unalive you. She was in my damn seat. I will strangle you to effing death, bro. I will tell my dad so many effing lies about you, deadass. I will end your career and your life." The burden at this point is on the prosecution to show the absence of considerable provocation, and these texts prove the opposite. She also, in addition to threatening directly to end his life, threatened to mutilate him. And all of that is considerable provocation. Nor is the second clause of this implied malice definition satisfied. The prosecution has the burden of showing that the killing was the result of an intentional act performed with subjective awareness of the danger to life. Youth is a valid consideration in the assessment of malice. Whether defendant's youth impacted his ability to form requisite mental intent is a legitimate legal premise. And 188A3 forbids imputing malice from participation in the concealment offense. Here, there is a lack of evidence as to what happened that caused Ms. Hernandez's death. There is not one item of evidence that shows that Mr. Burke knew, appreciated, or disregarded danger to her life on April 23rd, 2025. Medical examiner's conclusion were that her death was at the hands of another, likely from 2 penetrating wounds. But he could tell us anything about the circumstances that occurred, couldn't tell us the order of which these injuries occurred, or even if they occurred at the same time. He couldn't rule that out either. He couldn't rule it out that either occurred after death. He couldn't rule out. He couldn't tell us what instrument was used that caused those wounds, or even if they occurred at the same time or how far apart. He couldn't tell us if she bled internally or externally. And then we learned from him that there was no blood in the body. There was nothing from which he could make such a determination as in the decomposition process. Blood fluids evaporate and are consumed by insects. He told us that his conclusion of a homicide, meaning, as he defined it, death at the hands of another, in part rested on post-mortem circumstances, dismemberment and the concealment, and the lack of other explanations for her cause of death. And dismemberment is post-mortem conduct. It says nothing about what causes the death, when, where, or how. And so these facts negate the theory that was presented that in the DA's pre-hearing brief that Mr. Burke stood by while she bled out. Dr. Ho told us either wound could cause death and it would take minutes or up to an hour. But he didn't have the expertise that a trauma surgeon would have to make that judgment that it was an hour or that it was at the extended end of the range. His description of either injury established that he could only say they could have bled externally or that they could have bled internally. He told us that the chest penetration could have caused air to enter and made breathing difficult, but that too was speculation because the decomposition prevented any examination of the lung. And so, while he opined if there was a lung damage, that could have occurred, or if there was lung damage, there could have been bleeding. He could not determine that actually occurred because of the decomposition. So obviously, that being said, he could not and did not present evidence of what had actually would have looked like to an observer. And that's the premise of the subjective awareness theory. The premise in the pre-hearing brief argument imputes to David Burke facts that are not supported. That is the suggestion that he would have seen, known, or appreciated what we now know from Dr. Ho cannot be and has not been, cannot be known. So in conclusion, as to count 1, neither statutory form of malice is supported here, neither expressed nor implied. There was no evidence of deliberate intention to kill under A1. Considerable provocation appears on the face of the government's own, the people's own evidence defeating the first clause of A2. and nothing in the record speaks to Mr. Burke's subjective appreciation of danger to life. Because we cannot impute malice from the concealment offense, what remains is suspicion arising from concealment, and concealment of a death is not murder. The court should decline to hold Mr. Burke to answer on count 1. Now, moving on to the special circumstances on his behalf, we challenged the 3 special circumstances asserted as unconstitutionally vague and overboard and unconstitutional as applied to the facts of the case, both as to failing to provide fair warning of conduct prescribed and failing to prescribe a meaningful basis for selecting death-eligible defendants. Factually, on the special circumstances of lying in wait, the allegations asserted under 190.2 A15 of the Penal Code, it's a higher burden for the special circumstance than deliberate intention to kill, which we've already argued is not met in count 1. But it's a different state of mind required on special circumstance. An intentional murder committed under circumstances under this special circumstance requires 3 things, including concealment of purpose, a substantial period of watching and waiting for an opportune time to act, and immediately thereafter a surprise attack on an unsuspecting victim from a position of advantage. Now, while there is no minimal fixed term of duration, the waiting must be substantial and show a state of mind equivalent to premeditation, distinguishing an ordinary murder form of 190.2 A15 special circumstance. And here, the evidence does not support a finding of killing or lying in wait. Ms. Hernandez knew and expected Mr. Burke to be home, and in fact, she demanded to come over. Now, we've heard, I think we heard a recitation of more than 7 or 8 demands by her insisting on coming over and insisting on coming over on that day. She was asking over and over, and he continued to try to convince her otherwise with excuses like his parents were in town, like she should wait until after his trip to Singapore, and asking why did she need to come right now before that trip, repeatedly trying to get her not to go. In fact, telling her no, but she inserted and set the time and place that night, his house. And at 10:02, she texts him after riding in the Uber, saying to him, "Girly pop, I'm almost there. Open the door if you're home." And that's when he responds, "The gate open, door open." We know that he was online gaming in the hour before she came. He and 2 other friends were online gaming and viewing movies or some other activity that involves virtual reality headsets, of which I am totally unfamiliar. But it's apparently interactive using headsets with at least 2 other people. And the evidence failed to establish that he was watching and waiting for her. The medical examiner's testimony is also relevant here because of what he told us could not be known. Again, what occurred or how, when or in what order the wound occurred, how the victim's body was positioned or moving at the point of impact or at the time of impact. Medical examiner testified he could not determine whether there was a struggle, but he told us the abdominal wound had a front and back wound path, and that's inconsistent with a surprise attack. It's inconsistent with a surprise attack from behind. And the ME, the bottom line is he could not supply surprise, position of advantage, defensive wounds, or any evidence of lying in wait. A second special circumstance that's alleged is that the killing was for the purpose of financial gain under 190.2 A1. This special circumstance cannot be established without essentially the prerequisite that a concrete financial interest be the consideration for the charged killing. And the evidence here does not satisfy that prerequisite. The proof of economic benefit presented here was too attenuated to satisfy the legal standard. The theory appears to be preserving prospective music career, but that is not concrete financial interest under the law. No California case extends the circumstance here. The special circumstance alleged here to preservation of future earning capacity, and that's the theory here. And that concrete, identifiable financial interest must be proven to be what's in the person's mind at the time of the alleged offense. Here, the alleged financial benefit is what we learned from the witness who testified. Essentially, it comes down to the preservation of a prospective reputation contingent income stream. Now, this is a novel and unsupported theory in California law. We learned that the income here was contractual, in large part already realized and banked. We heard about $5.1 million having been paid on the first commitment alone, $2 million in cash in a Morgan Stanley account, and assets in a Thorn Rose trust. None of these assets flowed from Ms. Hernandez's death or was tied to her in any way. He had satisfied what he had to do for albums 1 and 2, and the options the witness testified for albums 3 and 4, both whether and how much he would earn, were not guaranteed. It was all exercisable at Interscope's sole discretion. They were purely Interscope's decisions. Mr. Pomiro, I don't know how to say it, but I say Pomiro, Poimiro, I think, testified that it would be speculation to speak as to what the potential agreement would be with respect to what the earnings could be on those future options should Interscope either exercise them or let them go. Now, he spoke about an email, a December 2025 termination of a contract. That email says nothing about the defendant's subjective expectation on April 23rd, 2025. Now, we heard extensive evidence of Mr. Burke's lack of engagement with his finances, lack of interest, never asking any questions. So there's no evidence whatsoever his contract was ever explained to him or discussed. The kind of testimony Mr. Pomiro gave about how options work or how they get exercised or Interscope's decisions were all internal things. None of that was discussed with Mr. Burke. So the claimed financial interest was contingent. It was unquantified as of April 23rd, and it undercuts the argument that could somehow have been the subjective expectation on April 23rd, and that's what required for this special circumstance. The last and third special circumstance is witness killing under PC 190.2A10. The law requires that the evidence show the purpose of a killing to be silence a witness. Again, here nothing shows subjective belief on April 23rd that Ms. Hernandez had any interest in being involved in a criminal prosecution and being a witness to a criminal prosecution. There was no pending proceeding or case or investigation. And while that's not required by the law, it certainly weakens any inference that there was Mr. Burke's subjective expectation. All of her threats were to expose him socially to family and friends, exposed to her family, exposed to the people online, going to her house and pounding on the door, essentially to ruin him socially and professionally. Never a threat to go to the police or to testify. The threats point the wrong way for the prosecution argument. Hiding a relationship from the parents, posters, or police is not a purpose to prevent testimony in a proceeding. So, in conclusion, the evidence does not show advanced planning. The sequence of events, if anything, is evidence of an after-the-fact concealment offense, but does not establish the mental state the charges require, that is, an act causing death alone with malice, a subjective expectation of financial gain, a purpose to prevent testimony, or substantial watching and waiting. The unaliving count and special circumstances separately requires these specific mental states, and the evidence falls short. Thank you.
All right, thank you. People?
Before we start with people, any thoughts on, there was some stuff that the defense said that I was like, they didn't talk about the lying in wait.
I don't believe a damn word I said.
They are reaching.
You're reaching, Joe. You're reaching. Marissa, what do you think? Any thoughts?
I mean, you listen and yeah,
and
sitting there listening to this, you're going, I don't know, is there something there? Is there? But then just when Beth comes up, it also changes it. I think it's also, you're sitting there listening to it live and you get nervous. You're like, please don't say anything that sounds good. Please. We know who's sitting there. But they're doing their job.
Yeah.
They're doing their job. That's how I just look at it. But
and they don't have much to work with, so I mean,
you throw whatever at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah, I will say, so some of the things that I highlighted that I was like, okay. So he said that it's inconsistent with the surprise attack from behind the ME. The bottom line is he could not supply surprise. The ME can't, like she was basically poking and saying he can't really tell us the way that she died or what aligns to the lying in wait. Like the ME isn't going to support that because they're not in the position. Like he couldn't say who and what was a position of advantage. I thought that was interesting. I was like, yeah, we went a lot of it. We can't really tell because we don't know. You know, we know that there were some wounds, but we can't really tell. Like, did he wait for her at the gate?
That probable, possible. That because these experts cannot say 100%, they're using every area that says they can't say it was him. They can't say how this went down. So we have to, you know, every time there's a possible or probable, and ME can't say things. The DNA can't be 100%. They're going to try to take that cellular data and say it's general, not exact. It's the phone and the car driving. We can't say he's driving her on the phone. So it's all those types of things that they're trying to say. You can't 100% pin this on.
Possibly, probable.
All of this really told me was that they're really fighting for count 1, which is the 187 charge. But the other 2 counts, they're not disputing.
That's what I'm saying. They're not disputing that he did anything to her. But it's interesting because even this part, I thought that the defense did throw a monkey wrench to this, in my opinion, where it says, and so these facts, the monkey wrench, where the facts negate the theory that was presented that in the DA's pre-hearing brief that Mr. Burke stood by while she bled out. We don't know if that happened. Guys, we don't know if that happened. We were like, well, is there a video of this? I mean, I remember SF posting about this. Was there video of this? There's a picture, because that's a very specific thing. Well, how do you know that he stood by while she bled out? Or was that just like, you know, part of the narrative? Like, we need to know if this actually happened, but we don't know.
Sounds like a narrative, or unless they have something from this, what's the word? Recipient witness that might tie
Maybe
back in. That's, you know, that he's told or confided in or whatever.
Right.
See, to me, that's just what one could conclude based on the fact that he did not provide aid to her. That's how I interpret the stood by and watch her bleed out.
I didn't even think of that.
Okay.
And they're only fighting the first count, because when you take the totality of the circumstances on every other count, a jury can conclude, you know, with all the circumstantial evidence that he did do it. Who else but him would have benefited from her not exposing him? That count 1, I mean, that special circumstance lying in wait is like the only thing they have to grasp on, in my opinion.
Yeah, like Alexis said, I was told standing by while she bled out means he did not make any attempt to save her life.
Yeah.
Yes.
He provided no aid.
That's what it is. Even Kadisha says the same thing. That's what it is. Okay. So it's interesting, but you're right. They're not disputing. They're not disputing that she didn't go there. They're not disputing that she didn't, you know, she wasn't dropped off at the house. So there's that. So to me, it's like, well,
they're not even denying the fact that they were in a relationship.
No,
right?
They're not. She's just not saying she's
hard for them not. It's hard for you to deny that when you have these graphic pictures.
But then they also say, like, all this really shows us is that they hid the body after the fact.
Yeah. Thank you, because that's they're entertaining. They said, well, this is the only charge. Okay, all right. Hey, Pinche Becky. All right, y'all ready for people?
People,
like clear my throat. People,
are you ready?
Yeah, people is
gonna be a long ass read. All right, here we go.
You got
okay. I'm gonna take it slow, and I might stop for a drink of water just so people are aware.
You're gonna need it.
Okay. Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Thanks for your patience over the last week. So I'm sure the court isn't surprised to hear that the people's position is the exact opposite of what counsel just laid out. To the contrary, that all of the charges and allegations have been proven way beyond the standard required for a preliminary hearing. I think the court would be in a difficult position had we been at trial on an 1118 motion even to dismiss any counts and allegations here. So I'm going to start by rebutting what counsel mentioned and then review a little bit of the evidence. Although I'm not going to go through every single fact that was produced over the course of the last week, where I think we called about a dozen witnesses. In terms of the crime of murder, the charge of malice, as well as any other element of charges and allegations, can be proven by circumstantial evidence. And the law says that circumstantial evidence is as powerful and as acceptable, valid a means of proof as is direct evidence. The majority of cases are proven by circumstantial evidence because crimes like this, especially crimes involving S with an underage minor, don't tend to have other witnesses involved. However, when you look at the facts that we have a underage minor who was threatening to expose this relationship, and that within 20 minutes of her arriving the defendant's home, she was obviously dead based on the text messages, the phone calls, the speed with which the defendant leaves the home, all of that means that he had to have been waiting for her. We also know, regardless of how the defense interprets what the coroner says, he was quite clear. This was a young girl who was stabbed, likely stabbed at least 2 times. There were many other defects in the body, but to be extra cautious, he only considered, for the purposes of cause of death, the injuries that resulted in internal trauma that he could actually point to. Obviously, the fact that the defendant disposed of a significant amount of evidence, destroyed evidence, concealed the victim's body for 5 months, to some degree, injure to his benefits. Is that how you say that? Inures to his benefits. But yet, there was still evidence sufficient for the coroner. Instead of finding that the autopsy was inconclusive, he was very clear and stated that the cause of death in this case were 2 penetrating wounds to the torso. And then we have to also remember, as the doctor talked about with respect to the aftermath of that it would take anywhere from seconds to a minute or so before this victim would have bled out. Contrary to what counsel said, he didn't say no, there wouldn't have been bleeding. He said that generally there would be bleeding. You're talking about an area where there are a lot of vascular organs, such as the liver, the stomach. And if you're talking about something like a pneumothorax, where your chest is filled up with oxygen, compressing on the lungs, such that it makes it impossible for somebody to breathe, obviously a bit of common sense would tell you that this wouldn't be something you wouldn't know was coming. So we're talking about a victim who has been stabbed twice. I can't understand how anybody would believe that you wouldn't notice that. I assume there would have been some vocalization. And during that time, the defendant doesn't call 911. He doesn't call law enforcement. He apparently doesn't call any friends. Maybe he calls his family, but he doesn't do anything to try to save her life. So there is nothing about this case that sounds like an accident. Rather, what it sounds like, based on the argument that's been going back and forth between the defendant and the victim, who, in the last 24 hours, once she makes that threat, it appears that he then puts his own plan into motion. Just as we saw, he made a plan to help get the victim out of her home so that she can come stay with him when she ran away from home. He formulated a plan here as well. And we also have to keep in mind, regardless of the fact that the defense tried numerous times throughout this proceeding to try to dirty up the victim, we're talking about a 13-year-old child. And the motive evidence in this case is astounding. But what we also heard was that there was a period of lying in wait. And lying in wait, unlike having to surprise the victim with your presence, that's not really what lying in wait is about. Lying in wait is about a surprise attack. The waiting, obviously, occurred during the time the defendant sent the Uber to pick up the victim up sometime after 8 p.m. that night while he waited for her arrival. Hence, his message to her when she said he's getting close. The gate is open and the door is unlocked, indicating he was ready for her. I don't know what counsel is alleging in terms of some sort of constitutional violation about how it's applied to certain defendants. But if they're alleging that somehow this was race related, then that is something I will be only too happy to litigate in this case. We have a minor who not only was, under the eyes of the law at least, sexually abused for many, many months. She was groomed. She was taught to believe that, as you can hear even through the text messages that went on between them, that she was being gaslit. Defendant was telling her over and over again that this is an S that she asked for, and he just went along with her. All of this is very obvious grooming, that you have a young victim who really doesn't know what is in store for her. And regardless of the fact that her parents reported her as a missing person, she continued with the assistance of an adult, very clever adult, to engage in this relationship and sneak out of her parents and sneak out of her home, clearly beyond the control of any of the adults. But the defendant, the point is, when we come to lying in wait circumstance, was in a position of advantage. And that's what the lying in wait special circumstances and surprise attacks speaks to. While the victim believed that she was just coming to the defendant's residence to see him, to talk to him, and to hopefully to continue in some manner in this relationship, while it might not have been the type of relationship that anybody would want for themselves, as she characterized in some of these text messages, it was the only thing she was going to get from this defendant at this particular time, which is she would sneak out of the house late at night. She would send an Uber to pick her up. She would make the long drive, an hour and a half to 2 hours to his home, to have S with the defendant, then to be sent home while the defendant went on with his life. In terms of special circumstances of lying in wait, I think that that's been proven by the circumstantial evidence many times over. In terms of the financial gain, I think that perhaps counsel should read some of the law that applies to this particular special circumstances, particularly in the state of California. And there are a couple of seminal cases on point. One being Ildeboucher. Sorry, guys. Ildeboucher. I'm sure that the court's aware of, which is California Supreme Court case, the landmark case from 1989 that discussed the financial gain special circumstances. And the court clearly stated that avoidance of a loss constitutes a financial benefit or gain, and clearly rejected the defense's claim in that the case that the term gain means only a profit or increase and doesn't encompass an avoidance of a financial loss, because then it would be artificially restrictive and wouldn't be in accord with the ordinary meaning of the statutory term. The court went on to say that otherwise, if you disallow the avoidance of a financial loss, it would result in an arbitrary, irrational distinction, since a killing to avoid a loss is basely motivated and repugnant as a killing for a positive reward or profit. So, avoidance of a financial loss is something that the court that have continued to find falls squarely within the meaning of Penal Code Section 109.2A1. and that is allowed, and that is followed up by the Silberman case with AB, which is a California appellate court case from 1989, and thereafter People versus McLean, which is another appellate court case from 1990. Then, contrary to what counsel put on the record, there is the Karasi case, Carasi, another California Supreme Court case that I'm sure the court's aware of from 2008, where the court clearly stated that financial gain need not be the sole or even the dominant motive. It only needs to be a motivating purpose, that the relevant inquiry is the defendant's subjective expectation of financial benefit at the time of the murder, not whether a financial benefit was actually realized. The proof of an actual pecuniary benefit from the victim's death flowing to the defendant is not even necessary according to this case, as well as Edelbacher. So the issue here for this court is what was the defendant's purpose, not whether or not it was achievable, according to Peoples versus Howard. One of the other things that I would note is that it is very apparent that all of the special circumstances in this case are interconnected. If we were to start with, let's say, the lying in wait, the only reason for the defendant to lie in wait for the victim in this case would be to silence her. One, because obviously it would destroy his career as it has, which is the financial gain special circ, but also to prevent the victim, because once she exposes his dirty secret about the fact that the two of them had been having an sexual relations for over a year, possibly there even being an abortion at some point, that not only would it destroy his career, but it would subject him to legal prosecution. And that's where the witness killing special circumstances comes in. If you believe that she was killed in order to silence a witness, then the special circumstance is true. There is no requirement that any pending investigation or case be ongoing at that time. But what we have from this victim is a very clear promise to expose their relationship. And counsel can say socially, but not to law enforcement. But I didn't see that as the evidence at all in this case. And the sequence of events obviously bear out a different plan by this particular defendant in this case. Starting with the sheriff, we know that the Riverside County Sheriff's Department, subsequent to a missing persons report by the family in this case on numerous occasions, called the defendant after they eventually tracked him down to this temporary residence he was living at 804 Doheny Drive in West Hollywood. They called him. They spoke to him. They told him that the sheriff's department in LA, given that was the county he was residing in, would be coming to make a welfare check. So we would know during the time period that the victim is actually living with the defendant, but he's given notice ahead of time. They come to the house. It's all recorded on body-worn video. He acts like he barely knew the victim. He is very casually speaking to them about beer in the refrigerator while he's chewing on some food, and lies quite calmly to law enforcement that not only does he barely know the victim, but he's only met her once. And we know by this time the two of them have been involved in a sexual relationship at least for months. We also know from the text messages that they have been having since at least November of 2023, which would have been approximately 2 months after the victim returned from age 12, which would have been 2 months after the victim turned from age 12 to 13. And we also know that at that point in time, as of February, the defendant is advised that this is a 13-year-old victim. If he didn't know that before, but it's very clear that he apparently knew, because he's showing deputies pictures of the victim from her yearbook from her middle school, as well as photographs of the missing persons poster, which also mention her age. But I would also point out, as I know the court is aware, for purposes of Penal Code Section 288A8.5, it's a strict liability crime. It doesn't even matter if he knew. He certainly knew by the time that the sheriff's department went out to make this welfare check, and yet he continued having S with this particular victim. We also heard extensive evidence about the fact that the defendant was involved in trying to ensure that the victim didn't become pregnant, tracking her period, discussing the flow tracker, which he had the victim download, which he sent to her, and then was talking about how they only have S on certain days when he knows she is least likely to become pregnant. Because, of course, if she were to become pregnant, the same thing would have happened, and there would have been proof that he was having sex with the underage victim, minor. Detective Byers, one of the investigating officers in this case, testified about the condition of the victim's body in the Tesla after it was towed from being parked down on Bluebird, around the corner from the defendant's home at 1368 Doheny Place in the Hollywood Hills since July 29th of 2025. There were numerous types of evidence that confirmed the vehicle wasn't moved, wasn't driven by anybody, since the last date the defendant drove that vehicle at the end of July before leaving for a concert tour. There was surveillance video. There were phone records. There are license plate readers, digital evidence that all confirm this. We also know the defendant likely parked this vehicle belonging to him around the corner from his home, so that very distinct, foul, decomposing smell wouldn't be connected to his home in a closed garage during the summer while he was away on tour, thinking that no one would notice, and stocking the vehicle with almost a dozen air fresheners. Detective Byers also talked about seeing these unknown source, these teeny blue particles that were embedded in the cut surface area of the victim's body. And of course, the fact that her ring finger on her left hand was missing along with the pinky. We found out later that that's because she had the defendant's name tattooed on the inner part of her ring finger. And in a dismembering or amputating that finger, he also hacked off her pinky finger because at that point, he didn't really care. We know there were certain items of evidence that were never found. And because of all of the extensive deconstruction of evidence and cleanup that was done, that the defendant's iPhone 16 that was connected to his vehicle that was named Tranquilizer, that was one of those pieces of evidence that wasn't found. We also know that the defendant's iPhone 15, an older phone that was found at his Hollywood Hills home during the search warrant on September 17th of 2025, contained C material and a description that was put on the record in this court, and the court viewed those photographs. We also know that through the course of numerous search warrants and investigations, the defendant had numerous aliases, email accounts, phone numbers that he used after the murder. In fact, starting on April 24th, to make purchases that are consistent with the destruction of evidence and the dismemberment of the victim's body, such as a shovel, which was never found, the one chainsaw that was likely used was missing. That was I think that was the 16-inch chainsaw, the Makita. But I'm going to mute you real quick because I could hear a little bit background feed. Is that okay? Give me one sec, guys. Yeah, I'm going to mute you real quick. Okay. Can you mute yourself? Thank you.
I can.
I could. Okay, thank you. Sorry, because I can hear the background. Give me one sec, guys. me get
Oh,
some
there's
water.
no noise here. It's probably something else because it's like completely quiet here.
Is it? Okay. Sorry,
Yeah.
I kept hearing like background. I thought it was you. All right, hold up, guys. And we also know he was looking at and contemplating incineration afterwards because of the burn box and fire mats that were found. We know the burn box was found. The fire mats were not. Those were also disposed of. We know the victim's body, her dismembered body, was found in a cadaver bag. The one he purchased, again, online to try to get rid of her. We also note that after the defendant was arrested in this case this year in April, that he also had the victim's name tattooed on his finger, just like the victim had, and that they both had these matching tattoos on their fingers with the word shh, as in be quiet, on their hands. You heard from Detective Farrell yesterday as well as today, and most of the evidence went to the 288.5B. I know there was an allegation made during the course of the hearing by counsel that the phone didn't belong to the defendant. But when you look at the various things that were found in the phone, that obviously becomes very hard to believe. But in addition to that, the defendant wasn't charged with possession of child material in this case. He was charged with a sexual abuse of a child. And so therefore, regardless of who the phone belongs to, although it's quite clear it belongs to the defendant, the phone provided corroborating evidence of the child material in this case. We know that the S relationship went well beyond the statutory requirement of 3 months. We know it went well beyond the requirement of 3 separate incidents of sex between that period. And we know that there were various sources between the cell, the iCloud, and the text messages describing the S that go well beyond what's required for any type of sexual touching. We're talking about, obviously, a sexual relationship that was very intense in nature, and the photographs bear out not just intercourse, but it appears to be oral S and sodomy. We know these text messages are actually graphic, and they discuss things such as contraception, as I mentioned, pregnancy, abortion, making a family, and marriage. We also know the S relationship with the victim continued beyond the end of 2024, when there is some indication that they may have broken up or that the defendant broke up with the victim, but unfortunately continued to use the victim for S. And we saw some of the devastating consequences of that on this young girl throughout her text messages, revealing her mental health issues caused by the way she was being used by someone who was an adult, telling her that he loved her, that he wanted to have a future with her. And yet she has enough maturity to indicate to this individual, who is clearly head over heels in love with, that she wanted more for herself than just hanging out and having intimacy. The night before she was killed, we can see that this back and forth and this continuing sexual relationship led the victim to become extremely angry, upset, jealous, and led to her threats to expose their relationship and destroy his career and his life. That fits in, again, the financial gain, special circumstances, as well as the lying in wait, special circumstances. And of course, the victim was used to the customary event between the two of them, where the defendant would send an Uber to pick her up from her home in Lake Elsinore and transport her an hour and a half to 2 hours away to his home, because it had been done on so many occasions in the middle of the night before. And that is, again, a part and a parcel of the lying in wait special circumstances. The victim in this case doesn't realize the defendant might have some motivation, some other motivation behind having her to come to him that night. She believes it's going to be the same thing it always is. She goes over, they eat, they drink, and they have intimacy. Instead, he is waiting for her, and within 20 minutes of her arrival, she turns off her phone and then texts her, "Where are you?" Fabricating evidence already setting up his defense in this case. He's already constructed a cover-up when we know she's already dead. And within a very, very short period of time, he's already driving up to Santa Barbara County, likely to try to find a place to get rid of her body, to dump her phone or purse, which had never been found. We know that on the way up, the defendant makes a call to the victim. We know it can't be that the victim's phone isn't necessarily connected to the network or was on. It's because he's turned it off so that it can't trace, because his phone is connecting to the network in order to make that call. So again, within this very short timeline, we have significant amount of evidence of what is deliberation and premeditation, along with the special circumstances where he has now dispatched within the victim, and he is trying to cover up the most recent of his crimes, and that he then goes about trying to get rid of her so he can distance himself from her. And then, as we heard, he basically just goes on with his life as if she never existed. But over the course of the next several weeks and months, he continues to order various items, including the 3 chainsaws, the body bag, the heavy-duty laundry bag, and garbage bags, where we saw his DNA is included on the exterior of one of the garbage bags, and the wipes inside, which contained the victim's blood. He obviously thought about how he was going to dismember this body to get rid of her. She obviously, despite trying to dismember her, wouldn't fit into the burn box, or it didn't work in the manner in which he was hoping to be able to incinerate her body. He goes about destroying evidence. Oh, sorry. There we go. He goes about destroying evidence over the course of the next couple of months. We heard about this drive up to Santa Barbara County from Detective Roker, who was part of the FBI task force dealing with cellular evidence and mapping. And then he went back up to that same location a couple more times, either to try to get rid of other items or to find a location, perhaps to dump her body. Ultimately, deciding to leave it in the car to rot, where it developed insect infestation, and her body turned into liquid while he went on tour. Then miraculously, Officer Sean Buenrostro finds the victim's passport through somebody that works from the Caltrans in the beginning of January of this year, off the dirt shoulder the road, the same exact area that we know the defendant went to just after the victim was killed at his home on April 23rd, and then back to that same location May 8th and May 31st, when he came back after his various tour dates, off this State Route 154 in this area that's been described as an isolated, dark 2-lane road, probably where her cell phone and purse wound up, as well as her left ring finger that bore the defendant's name. Then we heard from various forensic experts, a couple of people, ladies from the Field of Investigations unit, who processed the defendant's vehicle. Your sound is out. Did you permanently mute?
I can take over.
Okay, here it is. Oh wait, no. Come in and come out, Abraham.
Yeah.
Hold up.
Come back.
Come back, Abraham. Guys, give us 1 second. Abraham, can you hear us?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead now. Sorry.
Okay. All right. And I'm going to stop you there for just a moment. I apologize.
Sure.
Is it noon? I'm just wondering how much you have.
10 minutes.
I'm sorry?
10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Hmm? We can pick it up again after lunch if you like.
Okay. All right. Then let's go ahead. We will resume at 1:30 and you'll have your chance to respond.
All right. Take a little break. Let me take a little break so I can drink some water, y'all. Thoughts?
So everyone's ordered back at 1:30 California time.
You're doing
Not
a
my
hell of a
hit.
job at it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, let me drink some water. Y'all, let me know your thoughts while y'all talk. I got to pee too. So let me mute.
Yeah. I mean, she hit all the points.
Foreign
Right.
Scammer asked a question in the chat too. Did he ever call Jen? Because he mentioned it in the chat or in the text message. That was something I was thinking about
Oh.
last night.
Good
Did
question.
he ever?
We don't
He
know.
Never
said
told us.
Yeah.
Just
Who is-
that
who is
text
Jen?
message.
Who is
Jen
that?
is Celeste's sister.
Celeste's sister.
Interesting.
People ask that too. Yeah, because in the text, hey, I'm going to call Jen. That's Celeste. I think it's older sister, right, Joe?
Yeah.
The one that went to Vegas with them.
Yeah. All right, y'all keep talking. I'm going to go to the bathroom.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, you see what the defense put down, and Beth gets up there and shoots
Yeah.
it down. She's very strong, very, very confident. And again, there's so many, it still is that there's so many items that are missing in this case
Yeah.
that it just, I really feel like that Lake Kachuma area was not possibly searched much or anything, but that stuff still bothers me because yes, did she have a purse? What other belongings did she have that were gotten rid of? We're missing 2 fingers. We're missing a shovel. We're,
Her phone.
The-
A saw.
the sharp instrument used, a saw, the phone.
His phone, her phone.
The shovel, right? They said the shovel
The
wasn't
shovel.
recovered too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which maybe he used that to dig somewhere. Who knows? Or maybe he just also tossed that in a lake. We have no idea where all that stuff is. And made
Did-
3
did-
trips to the same area.
Did they say where, like, how long he stopped when he went out to those areas? Where, if he actually did, like, was
We
Well, they
it-
have.
They said the
have
first night he was
areas-
there was.
No, go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead, Joe.
I think they said the first night that he was there for more than 4 hours.
he was out all night. He didn't go back
Yeah.
till like
And
5
maybe
a.m. or
even
something.
8. But yeah,
Yes,
he
it
was out
was-
there till like 8 a.m.
Yeah, like each time. But we do have some areas that I drew where that triangulated to certain pinpoints. That's why one of them that I again, I can't draw, but like I was trying to draw so I could overlay it on a Google map so I could try to find the spots. One of them was boom, right on the corner of the lake.
Oh, really?
Yes. And that's the so tempting like to want to go up there. I mean, it's such a vast
Kadisha
area.
says he didn't come back till 7 a.m. the first time.
Yes.
So he
I
was
mean-
out there contemplating for a long time, or it just took him that long to dispose of all of her belongings.
The Tesla infotainment, I'm sure, tracks more precisely the location where the car stopped. Like not not the triangulation, because the car uses the GPS. So
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
wonder why they couldn't get more
It was
precise
like,
locations for his stops.
It was they were using a signal for both to pinpoint certain areas, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's
And then
But-
it took a while because he was charging the Tesla too when he went up there.
yeah.
I don't know how long that
That's-
takes to charge.
If
It
we-
takes a little while. Sorry, go ahead.
To get there. No. Go ahead, Abraham.
It takes a little while, and remember, he was parking the car outside, which meant the Tesla was not getting much charge at all. They never
Yeah.
used the garage, barely. That's why he was always having to charge.
If we go to the trial next year, I mean, unless this guy takes a plea deal and there's no trial, much I'm like, if we do, I think we should totally do something where we go out there and just search.
Oh, that would be fun.
That'd be great. If I mean, it's a lot of creators out here. Like if it's a, you know, we go to the trial and then maybe on the weekend or something we go out there and we just search, because it's like maybe he dropped it out there. Is it pretty vast out there or what?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the terrain could be pretty intense. You've got cliffs, drop offs. Yeah.
So he could have put his stuff anywhere.
It's beautiful. It's the beauty of living in this SoCal area. You can drive north, south, and you could staycation. It's just beautiful, but it is a vast area and mountainous and
everything. And Mark the Shark, I think he has like a drone, right? Like he was flying over a drone.
Yes.
I know Steve has a drone too, because I've seen him, you know, drive up there and fly that thing. I mean, because he's been out there. I mean, I'm just saying it'd be good. I just can't. I just think that that's where her items are at. They have to be out there.
I have a metal detector.
You have a metal detector? Well, there you go, girl.
I do.
That works.
Y'all are so funny in the chat. Y'all are crazy. No, but it'd be good, you know, but knowing this guy, I don't know, something. Do you think this is actually going to go to trial in terms like if he's offered a, I have a feeling he's going to plea out. He's going to
spare the family.
I think he's going to try to go for convincing one person on a jury.
Yeah.
That's all. That's he's regardless of what happens, if you want to just go based off of the child stuff, he's done. He's not going to see the light of day again. I firmly believe that. If he wants to take the truth in that and listen and back out of it, sure. But I don't know, the way the family was still trying to hire an entertainment lawyer, fighting all this, I still think he might, if he has that money there, which we learned he has more money than any of us thought, he might still go, it's a chance. What if I just convince that one person on that jury and I have a chance to get out of this?
The defense did say they're going to fight till the end, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But convince that one jury, to that one count? That, I mean, to which count? Because there's no other, out of all the counts, the jury is going to find him at least in the you know, the essay stuff, the CCM stuff is going to find him guilty for that.
Morris,
I think so, yes.
The DA, as far as the plea deal, what did the DA recently say? Nathan Hutchman gave an interview to Jesse Weber, and he said that it's not that they're not considering a plea deal, but what did they say?
If David's team wants to come over and offer a plea, they're willing to hear it or something like that.
That's what I was going to say. Maybe if the defense presents some sort of deal to consider, maybe the prosecution will consider it.
Here, let me
guilty to this and that.
I have it on my page somewhere. Just
he did a recent interview. So they might, I mean, whatever that deal is, but like I think you're right, Morris. I think he's done in because here's the deal is, say you don't get him at the state, right? If they can get him at the federal level too, because now you're talking, I mean, I could see this kind of going to the feds right after the state is done, guys.
And Celeste not being the only one.
If there's more victims.
There's more victims.
So what he said was whether or not David wants to come forward with some offer, David and his counsel are always free to make an offer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Rabbit, he's not offering. They can offer. Gotcha. They will consider it if he meets charges. That's right, Morris. That's right. Yeah. So I guess we'll see, man.
I think he's I will say this, after this all went down, right? Those Friday and Monday were so bad. And as bad as those CCM photos were to hear, he had to sit there too and hear all of that being read out and hear what he did to her and hear about his personal details of the photos that he took of himself being read out to an entire room, which I'm sure embarrassed the heck out of him. Because finally he was like shrinking down in his seat at that point. Like he started getting smaller, because I think I can't imagine that being read out loud to such a room like that, right? This man, I hope, he's being tortured when he's gone back to that jail. and he's got her name on her finger, and I hope he is being tortured by all of this. So that's the only chance that maybe he's gonna be simmering in this so much after prelim. Maybe he does, something changes, but I don't know with him. He doesn't. He wrote a lot of notes in the last 2 days too, and was trying to like whisper to the lawyer. So
there's got to be
I don't
something though, honestly, like a lot of these artists that are convicted and found guilty, they're able to still make music. He's still able. That's why they're able to get this entertainment lawyer. For whatever reason, they feel like, you know, they're able to make money off of him. I mean, we have Tory Lanez, who, regardless of how you feel, I mean, he's behind bars, right? After that, I think, depending on how many, I think it, 10 years or something like that? Hell, I mean, this guy, David is facing more time than Tory Lanez at this point, because he'll get deportation after that. I think it's after 10 years or something like that. But at the same time, it's like, they're still profiting. Even though they're not, I guess you can't say unless he profits off of the victim, they can't do that, but they're still profiting. They're still able, and you are going to have a fan base that will continue to support someone's music career, even behind bars. So that's the part that I don't understand. I feel like why are we allowing, you know?
It shouldn't be allowed. And I feel like he was holed up for so long in that house. He might have done that. That might have been like, hey, make as much music as you can while we're waiting this out and you're hiding out, right? Because we could release it after and still have some income coming in, because people will listen. But I also have questions there too, legally, with like Interscope and, you know, listen, we have Celeste's voice, it seems pretty clear to me, but on this music, and there's no permission given to that. Working in an entertainment industry, typically before releasing anything like that, you need to verify every single individual that is on a track legally to make sure they have the credit, to make sure that everything is flushed out. And everyone just seemed to like approve it without saying, who's this voice? Like, have we made sure legally everything's good? Like, I don't know there too. I question what would be allowed if there's other legal implications.
I'm sorry, Josh Marshall needs to be held accountable too. I don't know, man. I'm just going to say that. All these music gurus, all these people that are just like, well, we didn't do the killing, but we knew about it, but we didn't do it, but we didn't stop any of this shit. Okay. That's cute.
I'm curious what the Son of Sam laws are too here in California.
It won't apply. Or it's only if they profit off the victim. So there's got to be a lot of changes. The thing is that it doesn't protect. Here's the deal, is that if, like, for example, David's mom can profit, David can't. That's the problem that I have, that it's like the perpetrator's family, and I hate to put it this way, y'all, because of whatever, you know, but at the same time, it's like, well, why are the perpetrator's family allowed when these victims are left in the wake of all of this? It doesn't seem very balanced to me, but you know, it's just my thought. But Abe, you were saying? I didn't mean to cut you off, Abe.
I think that I could be wrong, but I think that legally and contractually, he would always make money off the music that he has already made. So I think that's inevitable. So I don't think you can stop that, because it's stuff that he did before. He was always going to make money off of that. I don't think he can make anything new unless he recorded something before he went in there. They're not going to give him time to leave the jail and go to a studio and record.
I don't know how Tory Lanez does it. Tory Lanez does it.
I think Tory Lanez recorded one while he was in there, though.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He's recorded on a phone most of his music career. Somebody slips him a phone, boom.
But I mean, we also have to remember too, imagine how many hundreds of songs David has that have been leaked, you know, or that have been released.
Where are those coming from? Somebody's holding them, guys. Somebody's holding this music. Why are they doing it this way? I almost feel like it's like a cruel joke or a trick or something.
Somebody's
then
access to something.
After this criminal case, right, or after this trial is over, there's going to be a civil lawsuit. So
I'm sure
the family's going to come after him for that too. Yeah. So,
damn.
And I'm sure that they'll win. But see, sometimes you win these civil suits and you still don't get nothing. It's just like on paper.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
they don't
give
you squat. You know,
or the person's broke.
Yeah, I'm broke. I can't nothing. Well, I guess they can take it from his commissary. Can they do that?
Well, whatever money he pays back, he needs to pay California. He needs to pay the state of California, because it's costing money for his ass to be there, right? That's the biggest thing. And then whatever other money goes to victims or whatever, but That's how I understand it, but I don't know, man. I don't know how this works.
That's if he has money after this case, though, right? Because I
Yeah.
mean, he's probably still got to pay off Blair Burke and her defense team.
Yeah,
So
it's a lot
is
of
he really
people.
going to have any money left?
I don't
mean,
know.
I mean, how much do you anticipate him paying for the services of Blair Burke?
Oh,
couple
because
million.
Steve was
About
up
15
here. Steve was here, was it last week? And he even said he's already in the hole for a couple million just on the preliminary hearing alone.
Damn,
Yeah, I believe it.
So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
And you haven't even gotten me bail. That's crazy.
nothing, y'all. We're not
Can
even
he
there
pay
And
yet.
there's
shackled
so
off?
much evidence for them to have to work through too. That's so much
Yeah.
time and people on it that
Yep.
that cost them.
Well, you guys ready for the next half? I think we're almost done actually on this one.
Yep.
I think there was something with People's Exhibit. If you could check with Miss Lewis about People's Exhibit 47,
Yeah.
just to make sure that it has. Okay, all right. So then we went to recess, and then we're back from recess. Go ahead, court page 81, line 15.
All right, we're back on the record. We have Mr. Burke present. We have all our lawyers present, and we were in the middle of Miss Silverman's argument to the court. You may continue, Miss Silverman.
Thank you, Your Honor. As I mentioned before, we stopped for lunch. The forensic evidence in this case is also very telling. We have the processing of the Tesla as well as the processing of the home. And of course, we're talking about forensic testing and analysis that didn't occur until 5 months later because of the fact that the defendant hid the body. So it obviously caused some roadblocks for forensic testing and normal investigative techniques. Despite the fact that a significant amount of time had passed since the victim's murder, the processing of the Tesla indicated that the victim had either been in the vehicle at some point or starting. Okay, reporters requesting clarification. Sure. We know that the victim had likely been transported after her death in the vehicle or things associated with her dead body because her blood appeared to be inside of the vehicle in the trunk, as well as indications that the defendant had cleaned up that vehicle after the victim was transported inside of it, because there was evidence of cleanup inside. We also saw that same thing at the house again 5 months later at the 1368 Doheny Place with the inflatable pool with the defendant with the inflatable pool the defendant ordered in order to contain the victim's blood from gushing over onto the floor as he dismembered her. There were indications that the garage had been cleaned up. There was a dryer sheet found rolled up inside of the pool. The pool itself smelled like laundry detergent. We know there were cuts in the inflatable pool and linear cuts as well in the black rubber exercise mats that interlocked that covered the floor. And if the court recalls, there was also testimony that the criminalist lifted up those black exercise mats and applied Blue Star. And the floor, as we saw the photographs, the brick floor underneath all of those exercise mats also fluorescent, indicating that there had previously been blood and that the blood was cleaned up. Also significantly, what was pretty astonishing was that the larger pieces of blue plastic fragments that were removed from the cut surface areas of the victim's dismemberment body were able to be matched up in several areas that physically fit back into the pool, which was, again, another indication that she was likely dismembered while she was in the kiddie pool. Also, a piece of her black legging was found inside of those black trash bags in the garage. But of course, Mrs. Leandro was unable to do a comparison to fit it back together because of the condition of the leggings, that they were so heavily soiled by the decomposition process that it changed the shape of the fabric. I already spoke about the DNA and the autopsy that was done in this case by Dr. Ho. And the last thing I'd like to mention is that In going through the financial records with respects to Interscope and the contract that the defendant signed, we know on top of the money he had already earned, which was sizable, he stood to earn a minimum of $13 million and a maximum. If all of the options were exercised of $19 million, so again, we're talking about a sizable financial motive. But again, based on the mountain of evidence that's been presented over the last 5 days, all of the allegations have been, as well as the charges, have been proven way beyond the standard required for preliminary hearing. And I would submit. You're muted.
Oh, sorry. All right, thank you. Did you wish to respond, Ms. Bernarski?
Briefly, Your Honor. For the lying in wait special circumstances, the standard requires 3 things. Not only position of advantage, which I don't think is supported by the evidence, but other requirements as well. The Morales case talks about it must be an intentional murmur committed under circumstances that include 1, a concealment of purpose, 2, a substantial period of watching and waiting for an opportune time to act, and 3, immediately thereafter, a surprise attack on an unsuspecting victim from a position of advantage. On the special circumstance of financial intent, there are a few cases in which a financial loss or avoidance of financial loss is at all the issue. What we know from the case law is that financial asset in question must be concrete and specific. Nothing close to the what is that? Vagaries? Oh, the vagaries of the case, which are with a large corporation 9 months later not exercising an option. The cases are not close to our facts. The Edelbacher case, which the prosecutor referenced, was a case where the special circumstance was found sufficient, where the defendant unalived his former wife to avoid a child support. What is that? Arrearage? Sorry, I don't know what that is. I'm sorry, to avoid child support arrearages, plural,
Yeah, arrearage.
property obligations. Sorry, I can't read.
You're
Where the
fine.
facts were that he owed his victim approximately $700 in child support arrearages and over $48,000 to equalize the community property division. Another case the prosecutor cited was Carassi, is also substantially different. In that case, the court held the evidence sufficient where the defendant unalived his former girlfriend to end a $375 a month court-ordered child support payment being garnished from his wages. The evidence in that case showed that he only had $271 in his checking account prior to his unaliving, over $21,000 in debt that creditors were calling constantly at work about, and a direct statement in evidence that the defendant that he wished his wife, the victim, unalived to avoid having to give her half of everything he owned. And on the unaliving of a witness special circumstances, the key is that the evidence must support the DA must prove it was his intent to prevent testimony. So two things. His intent to prevent testimony. The evidence here that we heard on that special circumstances that numerous family members and friends on both sides of both families and business associates and social acquaintances knew of the relationship, and they knew numerous out-of-town hotel stays, including her parents, including her aunt and sister. This group of people is not materially different than the people she was threatening to tell. Her dad, some young woman named friends of his mom. Yet nothing had ever occurred. The evidence weakens any inference that a threat to expose him to friends and family publicly be the basis of an inference that on April 23rd, that was his state of mind to silence her. It doesn't exist and isn't reasonable. There are numerous distinctions from the cases. There is no statement of concern here for her exposing him or her talking. There are no acts of intimidation. And in fact, the opposite facts occurred here. There is an absence of evidence of concern about her talking, an absence of a plot to unalive her, and everything shows his efforts to stop her from coming over, and he never said to anyone that he had a problem with her talking. And I'll submit, Your Honor. I'll submit, Your Honor. Oh, muted.
Unmute.
Sorry. People, actually, I'll give you a chance. Did you want to respond to just the last arguments?
No, thank you.
All right. Both sides submit.
Submitted.
People?
Yes.
All right. Well, as you both are well aware, the phrase sufficient cause for holding someone to answer has long been held to be synonymous with probable cause and to require such a state of fact that would lead a person of ordinary caution or prudence to believe and continuously entertain a strong suspicion of the guilt of the accused. The evidence must establish that a reasonable person could harbor a strong suspicion of the defendant's guilt, and this is exceedingly low, standard. So that is what applies at a preliminary hearing. A defendant may be held to answer if there is some rational ground for assuming the possibility that he committed an offense that evidentiary showing required a preliminary hearing is low, but there must be some evidence. That's Thompson's versus Superior Court A2001 case at California at 91 Cal App 4th 144. As for some of the particularities about this case, when it comes to financial gain, and I am going to address the special circumstance that seems to be the biggest contention by the defense, and I understand the defense is generally making a motion to dismiss for insufficient as to all charges, all enhancements. I do understand that, but I do want to address some of the case law that I came across. In People versus Parker, a 2022 case where it held that evidence was sufficient to establish the defendant's expectation of financial gain from killing the victims as required to support the financial gain special circumstance where the evidence showed that the defendant believed he would receive greater financial benefit from killing the victim than from marrying her. As it relates, lying in wait, there's People versus Duong, Duong, a 2020 case at California 5th 36. It is sufficient that the defendant's true intent and purpose was concealed by his actions or conduct. Concealment in that sense is that which puts the defendant in a position of advantage from which the fact finder can infer that the lying in wait was part of the defendant's plan to take the victim by surprise. In People versus Brown, a 2023 case for first-degree murder based on lying in wait, the people must show that the defendant performed the act of lying in waiting concealment with intent to take the victim by surprise to facilitate the infliction of injury likely to cause death. In People versus Maldonado, the people must just prove concealment of purpose, a substantial period of watching and waiting for an opportune time to act, and immediately thereafter surprise attack on an unsuspecting victim from a position of advantage. In People versus Clark, no particular period of time is required. The time must continue long enough to premeditate and deliberately conceal one's purpose and to wait and watch for an opportune moment to attack. And in People versus Cage, a 2015 case, lying in wait special circumstance requires intent to kill, while lying in wait murder requires only a wanton and reckless intent to inflict injury likely to cause death. Where evidence supports lying in wait special circumstance, it necessarily supports lying in wait theory of first-degree murder. As far as the constitutionality the defense raised to the special circumstance, there is a People versus Schultz case, a 2020 case. The statutory factors that render a defendant eligible for the death penalty are not so numerous and broadly interpreted that they fail to narrow the class of death eligible first-degree murder as required by the 8th and 14th Amendment. All right. And then with regard to the witness killing special circumstance, in order for this special circumstance to apply, the defendant must kill the witness for the purpose of preventing him or her from testifying or retaliation for his or her testimony. However, this does not have to be the sole or predominant purpose of the killing. The People versus Stanley, a 1995 case, and People versus Sanders, a 1990 case. I have cases regarding some of the other counts, but those don't seem to be raised specifically, so I don't need to go through the case law regarding those. So it appears to me, for purposes of preliminary hearing, that the people have met their burden of proof as to all charges and to all enhancements, including the special circumstance. So the motion to dismiss is denied. It appears to me from the evidence it appears to me from the evidence presented that the following offenses have been committed and that there is sufficient cause to believe the following defendant is guilty thereof, to wit, David Anthony Burke. Count 1, a violation of Penal Code Section 187 with the allegation of 190.2A1. And they mention a whole bunch of other counts. Violation of Appeal Code Section 288, and count 3, a violation of Health and Safety Code Section 7052. I order that Mr. Burke be held to answer. Therefore, bail will be set at no bail at this time and be committed to the custody of the Sheriff of Los Angeles County until a charge in the court's order. Date of arraignment in the Superior Court is, I believe, August 10th of 2026 at 8:30 a.m., I believe, in the morning in this court. This case was assigned to me for all purposes, so that includes trial. If there are any motions in the future or review of today's proceedings with regard to the court, that will be sent to a different bench officer for review of this court's decision. Otherwise, it will proceed through trial and pre-trial motions will be in this court. Ms. Bernarski?
Your Honor, would you entertain an arraignment date of August 28th or 31st with the defendant's time waiver?
I don't have a problem with that if the people doesn't have a problem. If that works better for all your calendars, people, what's your position with regard to that?
That's fine.
All right. So, Mr. Burke, there are certain statutory time periods that are required by law, and one of those is, once you're held to answer, you have to have your arraignment on an information, which is the next stage. The actual document, the pleading charge, which are document, what I have here. This is a complaint, which is the initial document. After held to answer, it becomes an information. That has to be filed within 14 days, and you have to be arraigned on that within 14 days. That's your statutory right. If you want to waive and give that up and set it on a different date, that's completely fine. But it's a personal time waiver from you. And I want you to understand, whatever date that you waive time for the arraignment on your information, you have the right to have your trial within 60 days from that date. So there are other dates that get pushed back as well, based upon when you're waiving the time. All right. I'll give you just a moment to talk to your attorneys so they can just explain that to you a little further. And then you'll just pick a date that works for everyone in the schedule. All right. Which date works for the defense?
The Monday, August 31st.
How's that for you, Ms. Silverman?
That's fine. Thanks, Your Honor.
That's fine. Before I take the time waiver, generally, in a case of this nature, obviously, it would be unusual for a case to go to trial within 60 days. So while cases are pending in the pre-trial mode, they are generally 0 of 90 time waivers. Is that a typo? 0 of 90 type waivers. That's this court's just general policy with regard to taking 0 of 90 time waivers. Once we get closer to picking a trial date, we will pick a trial date to get it on the calendar, and then we can start working toward the pre-trial motions, the trial motions, and then evidentiary motions and whatnot. So if that's acceptable with the defense, then I will take a time waiver on August 31st as a 0 of 90.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Is that okay?
Yes.
And people, you have no objection?
None.
All right. So, Mr. Burke, as I said, you have the right to have your arraignment and the information filed by what I did say, August 10th. It is okay. If it is okay with you, that we set the filing of your information and the arraignment on the information on August 31st, and that for now your trial would to take place within 90 days of that date. Is that okay with you, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
And counsel, join.
Join.
People join.
Of course.
All right. So, Mr. Burke, we will see you back then on August 31st. And if there's any court orders that the defense needs to submit, either ex parte or with regard to public matters, obviously you can do so within that time frame.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. We will see everyone back on August 31st. Thank you all. Before you go, please make sure Ms. Lewis has your exhibits. Court is
The
adjourned.
end. That's it. That's it. Nothing else down there.
That's it.
Ooh,
And then they did the
man.
press conference outside. Those comments
Cuff
were
them
the
up
only
and
other
lock them
thing.
up.
Oh my gosh.
So wait, so is he going to get to do this in 90 days? Or no?
No. Go for
So
it.
that's what some
That
people took it
confused
as.
me.
That's not what it means. So first, clarification on that. This stays with this judge, Judge Almeida. This stays with her the entire time, the whole case. This doesn't change anyone. So the same judge, we should have the same court reporter. It's going to stay, which is great. She's a very fair judge. Love her. Then the other thing is they gave like a time waiver of usually 60 days for felonies he gave to 90 days. That's why they were asking if that was okay. That timing, that's his rights to have, your trial within that amount of time as a citizen of the United States. Okay. That time clock does not start though until he has this new information arraignment. Typically, he had to waive this as well. That would happen after this point when prelim ends within 14 days. However, he waived time to push it to August 31st. Once we get to August 31st, that is when the clock starts on the 0 of 90 days. However, it's the same as to the count as preliminary. You can have delays, we need more time, and all of that. It is just his right to be able to have that within that time. So I always say focus on the next step, and the next step will be August 31st, and then we'll see what happens there, right? If they set that trial date and say, we're ready, we're not ready, how much time do we think? That would be like, get to that next point before we look all ahead. We can't anticipate what delays and stuff might happen, but August 31st is the focus.
Dang. I mean, thoughts and opinions, y'all. Like, this was a lot. I'm gonna tell you guys something. I've watched videos here and there, but I haven't been able to watch like everybody's, videos and stuff. I typically do I like to review. Like, I haven't watched Law and Crime or anything like that because I want to focus on what we have on paper. Because I'm like, well, I'm just gonna wait, and then this is everybody's like reaction to what happened, but we actually know what happened because we have the paper here. But I mean, if you could think back to like last week when we were talking about this case, I mean, Marissa, you're a little bit different because you were actually there, Wednesday through Friday through Monday, right? So, is everything? Go ahead.
Thursday through Monday because I didn't get lotto in those first 2 days. I was
Oh,
there,
that's right.
but I didn't get in.
I keep forgetting it started Tuesday, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
I got
messes
you.
me up too every time. Yeah, it started on a Tuesday. Yep.
It started on a Tuesday. So I think, I mean, was everything that you guys have heard us reading the court reports and everything, or the transcripts? I mean, is everything were there things that were missing that you guys felt like, well, this is unclear, now we know what's going on? Yeah, Pinche Beck, I completely understand why everybody looked at. I mean, listen, I saw it in everybody's face. That was enough for me to be like, oh my God, it's a lot. Yeah.
So comparing to the information that got out, Line Prime, I think, reported the most accurately. You know, it's like they reported, like I didn't misunderstand anything that they said. So I think they were the most accurate. I'm glad that we got to see how the mother advising on asking for the pregnancy was put into better context. I that clarified that for me. And also the what else? I forgot. Lost my train of thought.
There's just so much though. Like we understand a better understanding of the forensics of what they were working with, the embedded pieces, the forensic, the criminalists that had to put it together, kind of like at least describe it like a puzzle piece, right? It sounded like there was multiple agencies working together, and it wasn't just like a one. I completely understand the delays, if that makes sense, as to why we weren't hearing everything, because it sounded like it was a huge team working together to lay out not only the forensic evidence, but like then you also have, you know, everything else in between. What do you guys we didn't hear about Neo in this whole thing, right?
That's what I was going to say just right now. You know, I mean, the prosecution, you know, did what they did. They presented as much evidence as they needed to take it to trial. The problem is that there's still so much more information that we don't know, right? And if we thought the prelim was crazy, just imagine how much crazier it's going to get once this thing goes to trial. We have wiretaps, we have witness testimonies. I mean, even the prelims just left me with so much more questions.
Yeah. I think that Rob Morgenroth, right? His role, Interscope, their role, like even Marissa, when you were sharing about Mosey, little Mosey or whatever, if you can send me the link to the sister videos, that'd be great.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And the controversy, Marissa, if you want to tell the people what you found in, because you did tell us during the week the stuff that you found, you were like, oh my God, like this is insane.
Yeah, and just a recap, there was an incident in 2019 in September where there was Josh Marshall, and this is when really he started his company, right? And this is before merging with Interscope, before they did a contract with him. So he was really starting out, and there was an incident on production on set with a vehicle, and this woman who was part of it, her name was Sage, she lost a finger in this vehicular incident. Okay. And when authorities showed up to this, and I'm actually going to go through reading the full report today and posting it on my channel.
Perfect.
So that, yeah, I just haven't gotten to these past couple of days.
I know.
But it's, it shows how when the law enforcement showed up, nobody was cooperating, and even specifically called out that Josh Marshall told the victim Sage not to cooperate with the authorities and to not tell them that his client, who was Lil Mosey, was the driver of that vehicle, so to not implicate him. And my thought of that was, this was happening with a grown woman, that level of intimidation and manipulation, you know, and it was said that they were trying to protect the business and his client. And so it just gave that little bit of a character background of somebody who operates in that way. And that was in 2019. So how is somebody like that operating years later when your business is bigger? You have these bigger artists that are making you so much money. And what levels of protection would you potentially go to hide things, cover things up, protect your artists, protect your stream of income?
I heard that Mr. Josh Marshall is trash, guys. Like, I mean, he's a trash ass individual, in my opinion. There's no defamation there. I mean, based on how he handled that case, but also like then coming about, here we are years later with this situation, and he's contacted, I'm over here in Florida, I don't know anything that's going on, yada yada. And that's not the case. He runs his business out of Florida, but his business isn't, I mean, Rob Morgenroth is an extension of him and these other businesses. And then they have those side hustles, right? The Morgenroth brothers, what is it called? The Zara brothers or something like that. They have those Airbnb businesses, right? So they were willing, and it sounds like, I mean, the security guy was hired by his company. There's so many moving parts to this. And I said, we can't really hold. I for me, it's like I get tired because we see this happen time and time again with child stars, or whatever it may be that, find themselves in this industry. And then it's like, it's a repeated pattern of either they're the victim or other people around there become victimized. And someone in the industry knows, but they don't say anything. And here we are 30, 40 years later, if you believe it or not, Jared Leto, for example, that people are like, well, I just thought it was normal. Oh. It's in a gossip magazine. Like, what the hell are we doing?
I know.
Yeah.
Normal.
It's normal.
Blind item.
That. It's a blind item.
Don't blind item it. Go to the law enforcement.
Right. I'm like, this isn't a blind item. It's child abuse. Can we just call it what the hell it is?
That's what I'm saying. That's crazy.
It is insane. It is
somebody
insane.
Somebody in the chat asked, like, what did we hear here that we didn't hear before? For me, it was a shocker. It was the description of the photos. I did not expect that. And mind you, I only read that very first paragraph. Everything else, I didn't even read it. And it was very explicit. I did not expect all that. If I was David, I would have been under the table. You would have been like, where's Abraham? Under the table with embarrassment. It's, wow.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah, he was shrinking.
Yeah.
It was, and then just imagine if his parents were there. I mean, you had Celeste's parents here and there coming out of this courtroom, right? But just imagine if maybe his parents need to hear some of this shit that was going on too, because it's like
his parents are listening to all these podcasts. They're listening. They're watching. There's no way. I mean, they're not. It's crazy.
It's insane. It's insane. I think that this whole case is just very upsetting, and I think overall, like even for Celeste's parents, because they're having to carry a level of like judgment, right? And I'm saying, guys, like I don't necessarily say we can't hold them accountable or anything, but they can't be charged. I had somebody in the comments yesterday, we'll charge them for, there is no charges for them. CPS is not going to get involved when there is no victim. There is no victim anymore. At the time when there was a victim, that would have been a perfect time for them to have been held accountable for neglect. That would have been the thing, for neglect. Because you not protecting your child is neglectful. You allowing your child to engage. And I know, and I get it. People saying, well, the culture, yes, but the buck stops at some point, y'all. And I'm from the culture, right? We have to stop it at some point. We have to say, you know what? My daughter, I might have gone through that. And I'm telling you, I went through this was reminiscence of my fault, the gaslighting. I'm underage. And so therefore, this man who's my boyfriend, I can't really hang out with him. I have a curfew because my parents say, but he's allowed to go out. He's allowed to talk to other girls. Like, I understood that part of Celeste in terms of her text messages is very real, but the buck stops somewhere. My daughter's not going to go through that because there's nothing, right? It has to stop somewhere. We got to stop it at some point too. So I understand that piece.
My dad's side is, we're Puerto Rican. I never had that. That was never a thing. Are you kidding me?
Everybody's
Never, ever in my family.
See, and I don't want people. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No,
go ahead. The generalization is horrible to do.
Yeah.
I don't want people to think that we are excusing the behavior of what happened just by the mere explanation of what happens in our culture and how some things can be overlooked. That is what I intend to do when I explain what may have happened and how they may have viewed things. It is definitely not to excuse it. And even though some, our culture can view that a little different, the fact that this little girl at the age of 12 was doing all of this is not the norm in our culture either. Because like I said yesterday, I sometimes try explaining it and thinking that she's a little older, 16, 15, where you will normally see this type of behavior. But this little girl was doing stuff since the age of 10. That's not in our culture, at least not the norm. That's definitely not. She was in the Latino community, we say una persona que tiene mucho mundo. Un niño que tiene como mucho mundo. It's like to try
You're
to
exposed.
you're exposed to too much and trying to be grown. And we often tell those kids, when you have an adult conversation, they want to be around. You have to often tell them, get out the room, go play with cousins. This is adult people here, and they act and pretend and think that they are grown. I think that this is how Celeste was from a young age, and and a stop was not put to it. They should have stopped it when they had the chance. By the time they probably tried, the train had derailed already.
Yeah, it was too late. And it happens a lot to, for me, it's like I was parentified growing up, y'all. Like, I'm the oldest. I took care of this happens a lot. And it's almost like I said, there is this like, teaching you how to cook, teaching you how to this, when it's like, yo, she's 11, 12. She can still play with dolls if she wants to do that. She could still go out there and outside and play, but it's like that gets pushed away. And there's this push to kind of make you grow up. And I wasn't ready for any of it when I was at that age, even though I was doing a lot of things that it was like, yeah, I could take care of my siblings. I hated it. I didn't like it, but it was a thing that you just had to do, So it's not everybody, I would say, that is in a situation like we've experienced, ends up, like Celeste, if that makes sense, right? I think for me, this is a reminder that it's not just Celeste. There's a lot of kids out there in similar situations like Celeste that don't have anybody advocating for them for whatever reason. It saddens me, but it's the reality of the world. If David was not who he was, I don't know if this would have gotten any attention, to be quite honest.
Yeah,
right?
You're right.
Because we have too many kids out there like this. If David was not this, D4VD, whatever personality, just a regular guy, we have kids that are preyed on all the time, and they don't even get this level of conversation, if that makes sense.
But then again, if because of who he is the reason why she was able to do this, because a lot of the times a child does not leave the home because they do not have the financial means to take care of themselves. That was completely shut down. He had the financial means to take care of her. So that fear that a child may have that would probably want to keep him home, she didn't have it, because she could go to somebody's house, a boyfriend, he could provide for her. Normal kids cannot provide for another kid. That's
definitely. Marissa, do you want to read that? I saw the question. Do you want to read that you put on the chat for us?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I noted. I saw First Liberty's question was, did anyone explain how the defendant was identified in the photos, absent the fact it was his own phone? And so I just wanted to answer that one. Yes, they would describe him, since we didn't cover that specifically. He was either identified visually. He was in these photos. It also helped identify that the bedroom is in the background of these photos in his home. And then the other ways that they would identify him when his face wasn't in a photo is they said an African-American man was doing this. So trying to differentiate his skin color to identify what was in the photos. But he also had some like selfies holding up the phone, taking pictures and all that.
So the individual, the one that was identified in the folders, a third individual, right? I don't know how that person is not held liable as well. And then Bruce Rivers, just to throw this out here, Bruce Rivers talked about the security guard too, the security guy, not the bodyguard. I think that's what they called him, the bodyguard. I mean, he should have a level of liability here. And I do wonder if he's also a witness. And the other thing, please note what Beth said. He called somebody shortly after. She kind of put this, she let the cat out of the bag on this one, guys. Did you guys catch that on Beth's statement?
Where she said, did he call family?
Was it a question or was it a statement?
Maybe he called family. Like setting the scene. She set the scene. He did this, he did that. Maybe he called family. And then she just left us there on the side of the road with that one.
To be continued.
Well, here it is. This is a direct statement. Because that one got to me when I was reading that. I was like, huh?
What am I reading? Excuse me?
My face was like,
what?
Leave us right here.
And this was one of the things that I was saying a long time ago, right? Like, if you were to commit such a heinous crime like that, and then just knowing that, he had this party or album release party coming up the very next day, who could you call? If there's one person that you could call that may just be able to keep all your secrets, you would hope that it would be family, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he said, "Dad, I need your kung fu skills right now. Like, help me out. What do I
Because
do?"
they were coming into town. That's why he didn't want to see her on Thursday, because his family was coming into town because he was going to be heading out to start promoting and touring, and because he had appearances. He had that thing. What was it in New York, where they were doing the band lab thing? Was like the first part of the promotion of that new album coming out. That's why they were coming. He didn't want to see her when the family was coming into town on Thursday. So they were coming in that day that he's out all night, right?
But I also wonder why he didn't want her to be around with the family if she had already met the family in Texas, had sat with the family at the Fonda Theater. So I'm wondering, like, what changed? Where it was
I wouldn't
no longer
want.
okay for
I'm
Celeste
thinking
to
he
be-
got scared. Like he was like, well, she's already threatening to expose me. Maybe she might. And that's the part that I wonder whether his family, up to when did they know that she was under? Not that they were dating, because I don't think it was the issue of maybe mom. Oh, sorry, we got a big paper cut. Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
no.
Yeah, I got a paper cut. Okay,
The worst.
it wasn't the issue of Yes, I got a paper cut. Thank you for
She
letting me
is
get a
too
paper cut. Go ahead
adorable.
and get one. Get one, honey. Thank you. Yes, baby girl. Hold up. Sorry, guys. I don't think it was unclear. Go ahead, girl. Do you need help? Oh my gosh. Here you go. Thank you. Love you. All right, girl.
Dr. Baby Bunny. She's giving you a baby.
Thanks. I'm not even joking. I really did get a paper cut. Look at this. Look at
Oh
that.
my god.
Oh,
Look at that. That's deep. Anyways, let me get something to clean it. So I don't, one thing that was it's still unclear to me, because yes, maybe David's family knew, but I don't think they knew that she was underage.
Yeah.
That's the part. That was not the question. The question was, did David's mom know about Celeste? And the detective said he did, but they did not. It didn't. The follow-up question would have been like, but it was defense asking, so I'm sure defense
Did
is
they
not
know
gonna
her
ask it.
age?
that's
Yeah.
what I
Did they
think
know her
matters
age?
of when they met her in person
Yes.
matters, because Miss Colleen had a history of being a teacher. As a mother and a teacher, you should be able to tell age. And also, I don't know how far this extends into your mandated reporting, but teachers are mandated reporters. I don't know how far that, like, if you stop teaching, does that end? But like, if she found out,
Yeah.
although she
Would you
probably
mandate
played that
report your
mom,
own
would you
family?
mandate, report your own son? I
This
mean,
happens a lot. Mm-hmm. It happens
But
a
I
lot
mean,
in families.
at least advise him to stay away from the girl. But we don't even know if she did. She may have or whatever.
that may have
I-
happened after Houston, because that's when the text changed.
I still think that she didn't spend enough time with them where they could have like really dug into it. Like I think they probably spent some time together in other social settings where other things were going on. Not, because it says that they went on that trip. We don't know if she stayed with them in the house. For all we know, she could have been in a hotel and him at, then visited the house a day or so. We don't know how long that trip was for either, right? We don't know if it was for a
Yeah.
day or a week.
We don't
Well, no,
know how many
didn't it
trips,
say-
right?
We
Didn't
don't
it
know.
say that he stayed out there for 2 weeks and finished his album?
He
In
stayed
London?
there, but we don't know if she did. She might have.
She
gone
could have
back home
come,
at some point.
could have gone
Yeah.
with her sister or a cousin or somebody that they stayed separate than where David stayed. Her
But at
sister
least-
stayed in
but
a
at-
hotel.
At least we know from his London trip, he stayed out there for 2 weeks, and then
Yes.
after that, stayed 2
Yeah.
weeks Texas to finish his album. We don't know
Yes.
the movement of Celeste during that time, but
Mhm.
Yeah.
we do know he was there with family for at least 2 weeks.
So David's mom might have not known, right? Let's just say that. But we can't say that the other people around. I mean, Interscope had somebody assisting him with the bodyguard to go pick up Celeste. Like clearly there was something here going on that Interscope was aware or knew, and they just kind of looked away from the situation. And this body, Sheldon Jaculus, I'm still going to
Yup.
call him that. Mr. Ejaculus, he was still
At
like-
least him should have known.
He should have known. There
Remember,
was still an adult around here, right?
they're waiting in, you know, the corner of stop sign for homegirl to come out and bring her luggage or something, you know. So he must have known. Why are we not picking her up in front of her house? Why are we waiting down the street 3 blocks down, 2 streets over?
And this is
Exactly.
the
For your
problem. This is
girlfriend.
the problem with complacency, right? Is that
Yes.
we know that he was on payroll and he was being paid to really not just bodyguard and protect him, but just also to keep his mouth shut. So
Exactly.
I'm
And he
very
was
curious to
complacent.
know, like, what was his compensation during the 6 months he was employed with Mogul Vision?
Yeah.
He should be held accountable. I'm just saying, guys, he should be held accountable. I don't know if civilly or anything, but it's like you can't, and I'm not saying he's a mandated reporter because a lot of these adults aren't, right? Don't get me wrong. But, you know, I think that this business, Mogul Vision shit should be done. I mean, that business is, it needs to be exposed for what it is, Interscope and all these individuals. Because, guys, this is the story that we keep hearing by their music industry, Hollywood people, that it's like we keep, whether the parents, you could say what you want, right? Because they were, in terms of neglect, yes. If they signed this paperwork and allowed her to travel, okay, that was neglectful of their part. They shouldn't have done that. That was wrong. Not excusing it at all. But I have to wonder, all the adults around them. I do side eye some of the people that attach themselves to the story that don't really make sense to me. I still feel like Jamie doesn't make sense to me. Especially because I heard like Lynn say in the chat that the lady changes her story. So I'm like, so which one is it, lady? Like, y'all be giving clout to these people that aren't really attached to them. We haven't even seen a see you next summer yearbook sign up or something to Celeste. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just going off on a tangent about that one. I kind of side eye that lady.
One of the things that I also feel that not many people, or not as many as we thought should know, you know, did. It's the fact that we heard in text that she always said, you know, every time that we meet is just to, you know, to have sexual relationship at night. So that leads me to believe that that is the majority of the time when they went, and he was keeping her under wraps, you know, and not being seen out as much as we think they were. So that's probably a reason why a lot of people did not know. And then as far as the record deal, it's like the record label, yeah, you may not be responsible because you probably didn't know much, but when you're dealing with a younger artist, then you need to have better oversight, because, you know, these, especially when they're so, and I'm not saying this in particular one. If you have somebody who is close in age gap, you know, 19, and you have a 15-year-old, it's still illegal. So you may want to have a little bit of oversight so that your artist doesn't get in trouble.
They did have oversight though, right? Because we learned that
Ooh.
Rob Morgenroth was staying inside of the home. His luggage was found, you know, inside the home, and that's the day-to-day manager, right? That's supposed to be his oversight. So I mean, that there too is complacency and being complicit in the crime.
See, but his oversight, at least for me, it would be more in the business aspect of things. Now, if you're going to take,
I didn't know it was my responsibility. I just wanted the tour to continue.
Exactly. So maybe, you know, yeah, it might not be your responsibility, but you have a duty to protect children. You know, regardless. I think.
I didn't know it was my responsibility.
Yeah, if you see an adult violating a child, and you know it's a child, are you going to look away? That's the question, right?
Absolutely.
And that's the thing, is like NDAs don't cover for this ish, guys. NDAs is in the commission of a crime. A contract is not going to cover you. So you could say, well, I was scared because of a contract. I'm sorry. Even what is it? Ignorance of the law does not absolve you of any kind of, you know, like crime. You can still be charged, right? So that's what I'm saying, is like these people, I think it's a bigger crime because they might have not done the act, but they were there. Now, here's the other question I have. Let's talk about Asia, okay? Because, you know, I thought about this too, and I know that we go back and forth, and, you know, she kind of gave her statement. She couldn't say a lot. I have a feeling she might be a witness in the trial. Not right, you know, if this goes to trial, I have a feeling she's going to be a witness. And I have a feeling, just my thought, that they were around her a lot more. I wouldn't surprise me if David was messing with this girl too. Okay.
I think so. Probably,
I think he was sleeping with her too. I don't know, man. Something tells me, because I'm like, girl, let me tell you, I distanced myself. You got a guy jumping over here. I'm a gooner.
Allegedly.
That's not allegedly. That's not my friend.
She was out of his age range.
There must have been at least a little over the sweater action, at least.
I'm odd one out on that. I don't think there was.
Tell me. You don't think
I-
so?
That's not his
Ooh.
age range.
That's right, because he
Uh,
wasn't interested in older
He
girls.
wasn't interested in that, and
Well,
I think
but
she
he
was
likes
there.
sex.
I
But
think
how
she
much
was
older was she?
around more for her exposure as well, for her needs to get out there because she was trying as well, right? So being around him, making him happy in that way. But I
Getting
don't
paid.
think, getting paid, being there, supporting him, being that person that has to be there. But I don't think, I don't know. I just don't feel or see that level of type of connection. Some people can be very
do you
close friends
think-
and get close or be brother sister or like in it. Well, weird, but like I don't see that intimate connection between them. I don't think he.
Yeah.
Do you
How
How
think
about
he
a hit it and
was-
quit it? Hit it and quit it
Yeah,
type
or
of
do
situation.
you think that he
Maybe.
was do you think he was like actually active with girls other than Celeste?
Well,
think,
based on Steve saying that
minors.
one from Valentine's Day and based on his, we've heard about other possible conversations, yes. So if you are consistently doing that and that's your pattern, as zebra stripes don't change.
Yeah, but it could also be that he was so inexperienced and such a big doofus that he was only impersonable to her because she was so young. To somebody older, that would have been like, "Get out my face," you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Or pay me.
He can't
Or
control.
pay
He
me.
cannot control or manipulate somebody of his age or older. That's the whole point of people who are PDF files. They are targeting those who are vulnerable, who might have something difficult going on at home, who they
True.
can get access to, who they can remove from their family and friends. That is
Ego
why they
boost.
target them. Is somebody his age or around the same age? No.
I kind of see it twofold though. I could see Asia being somebody that he pays, right? And she is not famous for anything else other than just attaching herself to a streamer. Like and I think she models, but it's not like she went
Yeah.
viral for modeling. Like, and I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just letting y'all know, like the girl, the only reason why people know her is because she's attached herself to this guy or other streamers or whatever. And it sounds like he gave her the opportunity. I could see a situation where he might not be attracted to her, right? Because he's attracted to younger, minor children. But I could see a situation where he is like casually having encounters with her. Because why not, right? Because I mean, I have to wonder about that.
On tour
I find
accessible.
this. Yeah. Like you're
Like,
accessible, you're there. Yeah, I could see that. But he might not be attracted to her. And I don't think that, I think Asia is, I think to me, she's more of she likes to play stupid sometimes. But it's like, I feel like the girl knows, but at the same time, she doesn't know how to detach herself from bad situations, if that makes sense. I don't know. I don't give her naive at all. I really don't anymore.
I think I think of her more like stupidity. It's like you're trying to be cool and attach yourself when you shouldn't be, but when you should, you don't. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, justice for Celeste, but then all of a sudden it's like, I don't know. I still kind of think like they weren't really close. I don't think her and Asia, Celeste and Asia. I think they probably met like once or whatever, and then Celeste. Also another thing to consider is his career started taking off very rapidly. So the way that things were with him and Celeste, I suspect, were very different than towards the end. Towards the end, he was getting a taste of the fame, the attention from other people, other girls, and that to him, he had outgrown Celeste. He did not. He wanted somebody more public, I think, and she was getting ready to nip that in the bud by exposing him.
I think anybody that was older, at least to his age, she had an issue with, right? Like she was okay if they were acquaintances, like what she said about what's her name, Cooperstein or whatever the hell her name was. She was okay. Well, have those kinds of relationship, but don't be as close. I think that she's strong. And you know what? I would imagine the level of insecurity is like, yeah, somebody, you're courting me
that
here, or
age?
you're talking to me. Yeah, I mean,
It's
she
that
can
she's
lose it
sitting in
all.
my seat, right? She's sitting in my seat.
She's sitting in my
Mhm.
seat. That says it all. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
she's going to lose it all. It takes a little bit for her to lose it all when it comes to David and everybody around her. And she's already given up enough. I would say, like everything that she went through, she doesn't even fully understand the mark that was left in her life so early on through this situation. Are you guys first of all, I'm not ending. I just want to thank you guys so much. You, Joe, Flo Joe, and I was gonna say First Liberties Podcast. I don't know if he's in the chat. Shout out to him as well because he helped out. Marissa, like you really came through, girl. Like I thought we were having a hearing on the 10th, but it sounds like it's the 31st. So
Yes.
you'll be going to that hearing. I'm kind of curious to know.
That is the plan. We just have to look at
what that looks
I'm a
like.
single mom, so I gotta look at the school drop-off time. And
Got you, man. Got
school
you.
to downtown LA and
oh my God, that sounds like a trip.
Like I said, new school start time. I gotta figure it out.
Yes, I know. I forget, man. School starts in like 2 weeks for kids.
Yeah.
I got you. So school starts in 2 weeks. But thank you again. You guys are amazing. I really want to thank you guys because it's like it was really good to invite. I can't do this like I did the Diddy trial. That would have been too much crazy. Again, shout out to BJ, Kadisha Lynn, SF Investigates, Pinche Becky, Sylvia, all of our supporters that were out there. Don't leave, guys. I'm gonna invite the chat in. Are you guys cool? You guys gonna hang out for the chat to give their opinions?
Sure.
Yeah.
If they want to hit the link, completely up to them.
Well, I want to say thank you to you because the way that you have covered this has been incredible, amazing. To give the audience an opportunity to voice their opinion and what they feel about this case it's invaluable because it has helped me better understand what's going on and see other people's perspective. And for those who have supported our channels by subscribing and sending cash up for taco stands, I mean, thank you very much for everybody who has. Your generosity is unbelievable.
Thank you guys. Y'all are amazing. I mean, I did create a playlist for those that are like, oh my gosh. I mean, we read the transcript. So if you think about day one specifically, day one, we read, what did we do day one? Day one was read on the 22nd. So I added that to the playlist and then everything else after that was added as well. But you guys have been amazing. Cole says, thank you so much, love, for this super chat. You amazing thespians found your hidden talent. Excellent collab. This was great. And I loved the digging into things. For me, this is how the public should talk about cases. Thank you so much for the super chat again. Excellent collab. And I'm going to shout out to a bunch of people before I end, but I want to invite everybody in the chat that wants to give an opinion.
Can I just say thank you to you too, Rabbit? Because from what I've seen too, and that I've been covering this case front to back day one, you're one of the only content creators to really have a hold of the transcripts right now and be able to read them back out to the public. I mean, I've seen screenshots of this show already on different platforms, just referencing your clarifications to a lot of the, I'm not going to say misinformation, but just, clarifications to some of the things that have been reported. So it's nice to just be here on your platform to help clarify some of those things that have been a big question since the preliminary hearing. So thank you for that.
I want to echo that too from Joe. Thank you for having me up here too and helping, because the thing is, these transcripts are the truth and you can't deny that. And this is the information that needs to get out. And it's really important. And I'm grateful for everyone in your community that has been so nice and supportive too of me. It's my first time coming up on these lives like this, and everyone has been so nice and following my channels. And so they're so supportive. And, now I got to go start a podcast with my AI voice. I didn't know I had that in me. So,
you have a beautiful AI voice.
Everyone has been so encouraging in these past couple days. And after being in that courtroom for all those days and listening to all those things, having the other end of the spectrum and people, appreciative of the information getting out there is just like a nice balance to have after, because this was a rough case, man. But
it is a rough
community.
Community
is amazing.
Thank you. This is a rough case, and I will say that we have on YouTube, guys, there is so much untapped resource. I keep telling y'all, too many untapped resources here, too many lawyers, too many people that work in forensics, too many people that work in social work or other areas that you could really, nurses, too many people that can educate people. And that's why I'm like, this is such a good resource. Why aren't we tapping into this and bringing people together that want clarification on things? I think that's the amazing part of YouTube. And that's what I want. Too many retired or police officers that could really clarify things for us. And it's amazing. Let me bring up, I think we have Alabama Mama up here. Hold up. How are you, Alabama Mama?
I'm good. I really appreciate all of y'all, every one of y'all. I've been very invested in this case as well since day one. And my friends, they don't really get into it like I have for some reason. And Marissa, girl, you do need to open up a podcast for sure. Like, your voice
Thank
is
you.
amazing.
Thank you.
I was actually just sitting here, right? Like a few weeks ago, I heard when Asia had came out, and I heard Rabbit and a few people up here talking about, the party live that she did, where she had got kicked out of that party. And that day, I'm not gonna lie, like I did kind of feel a little bit of like sorrow, right? Like I remember when I was that young, I didn't make stupid decisions like that but I also know that I was very naive, and I tried to give her the benefit of doubt. And I was like, maybe everybody's just going too hard on her. No, now I'm 100% convinced she's an idiot. Like, there's no other explanation for it. And maybe she is pretending to be so naive.
I think that things too is this age and that group, and I have opinions that would be a different thing on all these live streamings, like these Twitches and Kicks, where they're just live streaming their lives, where they're out the whole time. And you can make a decision to not attend parties where people are just live streaming like that, because you're putting yourself in a situation. So you've got to start making better decisions about who you hang with, where you go. And
I do agree.
She's got to understand right now that there is just a cloud following her and about this whole thing, and it is what it is. And eventually, if she wants to get her truth out there, I'm sure we'll get it when we get to trial. But in the meantime, she's impacted as well for this, and she can't deny that. But don't go somewhere where people are live streaming then and getting video. Like, just, you got to remove yourself for the time being.
Especially
really
after
does.
her name came out of the preliminary hearing.
Oh,
Right?
she really does.
It was just as bad when she came out and made that video, but the fact that her name actually came out, and let's be honest, you can kind of say like she's kind of the reason, that maybe Celeste went off, because
Think
of that
about it.
was like, I need to see you now.
Right.
Yeah, hearing that's got to be hard.
Let me ask you guys a question, because we're on that real quick. Neo, all right, let me say something. I don't know how it's gonna land, but I'm gonna say it. Do you think that there might have been some jealousy with Neo too? Could there have been an actual relationship between Neo and David as well? Because I wondered about that closeness too. I thought maybe, there might have been something
I
there
don't
too.
think so.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm. I highly doubt it.
I kind of think there was. I can't even lie.
I've seen a
kinda
lot
think-
of in them. I'm like, there's an energy there that I'm like,
Oh, wait, but you're asking, could they have been a relationship between them that she was aware about, or just in general?
I say both. Maybe she didn't. Well, could she have just been like, because she was upset with Asia, right, in that relationship? Then it made me think, well, was she also? There's no communication there, right, that we know of to substantiate that. But the question that I had was, could she have also been worried about Neo because of maybe that energy and that age as well? And Neo was older too.
I don't think that no, I don't. Did they have something? I don't know. There's nothing that has led me to believe that they have, but that she knew and that she would have felt some sort of jealousy the way that she did towards Asia. I highly doubt that, because she said, why can't you just be friends with her like Robin? Did she say was it the same guy?
Lane.
Neil, that she said?
Robin
Lane.
and
Oh, Lane
Lane.
and Rob.
Lane.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a very old post that I read on the Reddits very, very early on, about, Neo's level of involvement with David. And it really, that post played a lot on like Neo possibly being like the plug and him having access to rugs. And so I think, maybe that could have been the reason why Neo played such a big role in his circle, because now I don't know if this is, if there's any truth to it. It was just a Reddit post, but, could Neo have been the rug supplier? And, in Hollywood, those are some, really important people to have in your circle, because you
keep them close. Keep them close.
Keep them close, right?
The
But
party favor people. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
That's right.
I don't.
He knows
I don't
the
know
area.
how
He grew up
truthfully
here.
that is. Yeah.
So that's the benefit. He grew up here. His family grew up wealthy in a very expensive neighborhood. So I think, but I will say with him, I just don't have enough information to really hone in on it. But keep going, Joe.
I mean that's what I don't know. I think that there could be some truth to that, but again, it was just a Reddit post. I really don't know. After hearing from people who support him, in my comments and some of my videos too, I'm starting to really believe the fact that he really had no level of involvement past just being in a circle of friends.
Was he
That's what I
kind of
an
agree.
assistant? Was he getting paid as?
He-
I know there's like Zeke.
I've been reading that he was hired as his assistant.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
to what
I
extent?
have a feeling
like
too.
like the clown in the group. That's what he strikes me like.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think he was, but I don't think that I kind of wondered because that was the probe of like, could there have been a romantic relationship, another person that maybe Celeste might have been jealous of? Again, we're only getting very minimal messages. If you're talking about, the level of texting that these two, that Celeste and David did together, I mean, there's probably a lot that we will never really know to paint a bigger picture of all the inner workings and the circles of everybody, right? But I do wonder about everybody else. I think the other question that I have, well, and clearly there is something happening because Neo had to go, right? He didn't show up to court and he had to go. He was, I guess, detained on that thing, right? That warrant thing. So there was that.
And it seems like Neo flipped really quick, right? Because his post that he put up on his stories was like, "Look, bro, I've got all the receipts. You're not safe anymore. I'm spilling it all."
Yeah,
So
that's
that doesn't
good
sound
point,
like
Joe.
jealous BF to me,
Yeah.
That means
I do
like
agree with that too.
I'm gonna do what I need to do to protect myself. And
What do you
you're
guys think about the Discord though? All these adults in the Discord, like what do y'all
Wow.
think about the Discord? My goodness.
They need to go to jail, every one of them. Anybody that is an adult that was complicit in any of this, they all need to be arrested. Like I truly feel that way.
Just gonna round them
I've
up.
never been. The only Discord I've been in is Rabbits. That's it. I don't even know how to work those other Discord. How do you get like a stream? I don't even know how to do any of that. But I kind of feel like the people who are on the Discord that kind of knew, I think that they are people who were either her schoolmates or her family members. Because who else would have known for sure that she was that age? I think it must have been people close to her.
No, there was a
No.
man in there that was like a mod who was also a creep. Like, y'all remember that? Y'all remember that coming out? I think, Robert, I think you may have even covered it. It was one of his mods that was a guy. I don't know. I can't remember. He was an elder. Like,
Zerk.
yeah, him.
Zerk.
He's a
Kadisha Lynn
weirdo.
brought it up. Yeah. Kadisha Lynn brought it in that there was a mod and there was connections to the Interscope, which I was like, man, that's a fantastic idea. If you're promoting music, then your fan base is on the Discord. Everyone's gonna go there, and that's how you get the latest updates of an album drop and stuff like that. That makes sense actually, but there was minors and adults in that Discord, and there was a lot of back and forth, and there were things that were shared in there that I don't think were appropriate to share, right? There was a lot, and then all of these. I think I read the article. I did. Was it in April? Joe, you were telling you. I think you said something to me about that article. I bought the article and I read it, and it was like Sophia was one of them. I forget the other two. The woman that took the screenshot, she was called by either David or David's assistant to remove that stream where it wasn't a screenshot. It was like the film, the actual. Shut everything off, delete everything off when Celeste and David are saying this. What was her name of that mod who basically
I think it was
received the call?
Safia. Was it Safia?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
think that is, yeah.
And what I
it's
did
like,
notice though with the Discord though is you didn't see, at least by name, none of his close friends that we're aware of, right? There was no Neo in the Discord. There was no Asia in the Discord. So I don't know if like any of his friends were involved, at least on the level of the Discord. And then a lot of his mods that he did have, they don't even live in the US. A lot of them are
Yeah.
in different
They're in
countries
different
like
countries.
Canada, New Zealand. So, you know, I mean, a lot of them, nothing's going to happen to them because they're out of the country.
They were talking about the level. I think it was The Wire that made the article, and they gave interviews. They, of course, didn't disclose their real names, but they gave interviews about what happened, how they found out, what they saw. That's their version of the story. Some of these moderators in that Discord were actual working professionals. I think one of them was like a law student. The other one was like a dental tech. Yes, I'm saying in their 30s. And then there's like these messages with these like clearly like minors that are in there. And I'm just like,
this is The Wire, you said?
The Wire, yeah, I could send you the article. It was like $1. I had to buy it for like 99 cents or something like that. And so then this was the only interview that they gave, and I did a video on it. I think it was like April or May, and I had missed it with all the news about the arrest. Yeah, and I was like, oh damn, like it was a very intense article, but they talked about finding out what happened. There was one person, I think his name was Ghost, who was able, 16 years old, he was able to get basically everything from because they were like deleting everything. They were the Discord people, the whistleblower. There was people in the Discord that were deleting all kinds of things. They were deleting everything because they wanted to wash their hands off of this, right? Well, luckily in real time, I think his name was Ghost, young 16-year-old kid. Shout out to him because look, smart. He's like, oh no, F this, I'm gonna download everything. And so that's why a lot of the Reddits and people, we have a lot of the receipts that we have because some of these individuals went and they download everything in like real time. So a lot of the things that were put out there, like from TMZ, came from the Discord. So the people that decided to do the right thing, like this young man who's 16 years old, shout out to him, I don't know him. You have Lamp, I think it's Lamp, shout out to Lamp, also exposing some of these things. But I have to wonder, like, yo, where did this come from? And did anybody think, man, something ain't right? Then you had that one kid who did an interview whose name, I'm not going to say the person's name, platform name, because y'all already know how I feel about that person. But they did an interview right on that channel, but they had disclosed back in 2024, December, before it went viral, right, that David was talking to minors. This was put in a TikTok video and nothing happened. And then once Celeste's body was found in there, immediately that went viral, like in real time, because somebody had put out the warning that David was talking to minors in 2024 in December. Nobody did anything. Like it was just like, okay, well, we just ignore it. Mm-hmm.
See, that should have been like a red flag to the people at the record label, because if you know that this guy gained his popularity and his fan base is all these minors, you know, you should keep better tabs on that. You know, because now this man is no longer the 16, 17-year-old that he was when he first started making all these things. Mm-hmm. And now, you know, there's legal ramifications that can come to you. And if he's making you so much money, why not protect that and keep him away from any of this craziness?
Mm-hmm. True. If there was something that you guys could say to Asia, because I'm pretty sure she probably watches a lot of these streams, what look at you guys.
Can I go first? Go for
it. Let me go first. Now we know everything. Y'all
all
go
you.
ahead. The judge.
Okay.
Take it, the judge.
No. In all honesty, and I think that honesty goes a long way. Acknowledging it, I don't necessarily mean or blame or I can't definitively say that she knew, because I don't know that. But if there was some sort of something, admit it. And if you feel that you could have done something better, admit it. Because in hindsight, everything is 2020. Yeah. Did you see her? Yes. Did I find that she was a little younger? Perhaps. Could I have done more? Yes. Admit that. But then don't just blatantly pretend like never knew her, didn't know, don't care. Now I feel sorry for her and I want justice for her. That's all I've gathered from what she has said. Just admit it. You know, you did not know, or if you did, you could have done some things differently at the time. That's it.
Yeah. I'll keep it simple. You can't get out of it, but you can get through it. And the only way through it is the truth. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
The only thing that I'm going to add is just stay off of the internet. Just stay off.
And if she was the stylist and recommended that bonnet, then girl, you should be convicted of a crime.
Bonnet crimes and wearing it all the time. I swear, all the time. I think that it's time. Somebody said, get off the internet. I think it's better for her to not do social media as a job right now. Not to say that it's not impossible for her, but it's probably a good idea for her to maybe go to school, get an education, and now is more than ever, right, to log off, because the internet's not really a safe place for her. But also, if there's a truth to any of this, no matter how you try to spin it in one way or another, you're always going to have people that are going to question you. And girl, get off the internet and go to class. Go do something that's away from the internet.
I also don't think it's going to be worth it for her to come back to the internet and try to explain anything. Because again, we've seen her Reddit posts. We've seen the 2 live streams that she did. We've seen the screenshots of what she posted to her story. It's like, as much as we want an explanation from her, I think what's best is that she just waits.
Yeah.
Testify in court if she's a witness. And then if she wants to afterwards, do a tell-all. Write a memoir.
She needs to do it really good. And I would love for her, once all of it, I would say maybe a year or 2 after all of this, if she does an interview where she kind of really, but she needs to really do an interview where she lays out, and whoever interviews her, y'all got to hold her feet to the fire, because this little pretty girl, and I'm just saying, because I see it also as a Latina, it's like this card that you keep pulling. Nobody's trying to hurt you. Nobody's saying anything against you as a person of, I get it, but some things do not make sense, and you have to acknowledge what doesn't make sense. And if this is the circle that you were hanging around with, makes you wonder, what else is it that you've been blind to? Right. So there's a good opportunity for her to grow here and heal from this, but also she needs to be truthful with herself and with everybody else, and talk to somebody that can hold your feet to the fire, girl, because the internet's not here to coddle you. Nobody cares.
And be in active therapy.
Thank you. Get yourself some help. There's more to life than what you're doing right now. Then, getting kicked out of a party is not the end all be all. Sorry, just isn't. But yes, somebody said, they said that they're already starting the Netflix series on this.
Filming starts on Monday.
It wouldn't surprise me, guys. It wouldn't surprise me if there's already a Netflix. I mean, the documentaries don't stop.
Honesty is the best policy, and that once if you're really honest and you genuinely regret what happened, and you're part for what you did or didn't do, it goes a long way, I think.
The only relief she'll have from it is eventually when the truth is out and she gets her part out, but is like fully honest about it. She's radioactive right now, and she also, like you were talking about before, Rabbit, how so many people are impacted by his actions. She's also in that ripple pool that she's impacted by what he has done. We don't know all the facts yet of her and where that ripple was to him. We don't know. That's the reality until we get more in trial. But it's going to take time, self-work, self-reflection, figure out what you want to do in life, what you want to be remembered for. She's going to be connected to this for a while, but she's very young and she has time to make changes in her life. This doesn't have to be all she's known for. She's still a person at the end of the day that was impacted by this.
I agree.
Yeah. I don't wish her anything bad, or I wish her much success. And I know that she's a lot of her reaction to this is because her brain is not there to make informed, rational, smart decisions, to make smart decisions about how to go about doing this. And she will eventually realize what she could have done differently once she gets older. I assure, rest assured, Asia.
It's going to haunt her.
Well, and I think also think about it this way too, right? Like if we're holding her to this, right? But then think about the other adults that were well aware, between the guy that was helping with the music in London. What the hell was his name, Joe? Are you still dealing with that minor? Like this is like
Jack Holland.
Yeah, it's like, you guys, like this is a problem that we have. and we're trying to, we got to hold all of them, all their feet to the
All the
fire just as much.
all the way across the pond, they're still calling me out in public about a minor. It's like, wait a minute. When I heard that, I was like, wait a minute. That's all the way in another country, and people are knowing this stuff. It's like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's true though. It's kind of sad, but it's true, and it doesn't get any better, I don't think. Oh man. So then, what do you guys think is like? I mean, as something tells me that he's gonna want to plead, and it's not gonna go to trials. This is just my thought, but we're here for it.
He's such a fool that it's so hard to predict what he's gonna do or not gonna do, right? Because he's so stupid. It's like, dude, come on. Listen, if I had that career going, I will not jeopardize that by having a good time now. And not only are you traumatizing and assaulting a minor, but then you're throwing away your whole life. It's like,
I think
for what?
he realized that way too late, and realized just a sad term to use, because he shouldn't have been doing it in the first place. But by the time it like finally registered in his mind that, oh shoot, I'm gonna lose all this money, it was too late.
But the problem was, if it's thinking I'm going to lose this money versus realizing between the difference of right and wrong.
And the harm that
I
he
don't know
caused that little girl.
I don't know if he's realized that yet.
Exactly.
And this trial will probably, help him learn that.
Selfish.
What do you
Yes.
think his mom is like thinking at this point? Because I mean, not once has she shown. I'm just telling y'all, like, I wonder. To me, the lady is a mystery. Well, mom and dad. We know a little bit about the brother and how he feels. He publicly denounced his brother. There is this conspiracy. Let me also add to this, because I want you to answer this too, Joe. There's also this conspiracy about the certain groups being taken over by his team, meaning David's team. Can you answer to that though too, as well, but also like the mom part?
So for the mom, I don't know. I mean, if she knew, then she'll have. I'm hoping she'll have her day in court to explain, which would have been my question back to you. At this point, we know that she filed the writ of habeas corpus to not show up at the grand jury, but can they force her to testify as a witness when this thing goes to trial? That would have been my question. And the question about David's team compromising, different platforms and stuff. I mean, I've been active in a lot of like those subreddits, and look, Reddit's an anonymous platform for people to use, right? And I'll use Reddit because that's one of the platforms that I constantly on. People are going to have their own opinion, whether they support him, whether they don't. And I mean, shout out to the people who are running these subreddits out there. It's a huge platform, right? Thousands of people are on there, but I mean, if people have an opinion, whether he's guilty, they support him, they don't, I mean, not much you can control with other people's opinions.
Well said. What do you think, Marissa?
No, I think, yeah, you've got to get the truth out there. I that's the only way to understand everything that went on, everything that happened. We have to understand too, we don't know so much. And even this preliminary hearing, we've gotten what was covered was to support the charges. We haven't even gotten into what happened afterwards, really. Like more of we know the trips he took, but more of the details after. What happened after the discovery in September and how they moved. We know that they moved to, secure chats and assets started being moved. But what really happened from that September timeline to the arrest as well? What movements were made? I'm interested in those. What cover-ups could have been going on,
Very true. Abraham?
For me, I don't know with certainty what the mom knew or did not know for sure. All I know is that I'm a person that believes in redemption and rehabilitation. That is what our justice system is about. If we don't believe in that, then we don't believe in our justice system. I think that if she admits that her son did something awful and did something wrong and acknowledges it, then it would be better for her in the long run. It doesn't mean she needs to turn her back on her son. I would never expect a parent to turn their back on their child. I'm not a parent, but I would never expect them to do that, regardless to what the crimes that they've committed. But that doesn't mean that you cannot hold them accountable and believe in the justice system to to make him pay for the crimes that he has committed.
Mm-hmm.
She can still support him from jail, right? And she can make sure that if that family sues them, then they compensate that family because they deserve to be compensated for the loss of their
Yeah.
daughter. He could have let her. He threw her out like trash. If he did not care for that trash, then send it back home because somebody in her house cared about her, regardless to whether
Something.
our opinion about her parents. But he could have easily let her go back home and just move on and deal with the other consequences that I'm sure his money would have been able to sweep under the rug.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah,
also has a duty as a mother to
Mhm.
actions speak louder than words. She has a duty to protect the other two children. And that can be hard when one has now become an adult, but we don't see those actions with number two yet, quite there. And I just hope that she reins that back in and does not push this industry on any of them any further and try to protect them more after seeing what happened with number one. But actions speak louder than words.
And don't bake the blame because by all means do not
No.
try to make it seem like it was this little girl's fault.
Marissa,
Yeah.
do you think that the parents are going to testify in court?
I mean, they were been fighting that grand jury so hardcore, and the other thing is, the brother was also subpoenaed for that grand jury because he's an adult now as well. So you've got 3 family members that had lawyers from, because I had gone through all of their information legally, the documents that are there for them and that grand jury thing. And, the brother had his own representation. So they trying to fight it so hard, but if there's trips involved to them, I feel like there's an important part there where they're talking about them in the case. Will they say anything? I don't know.
That too, and I also wonder if with the stuff that we've seen the brother post, which denounces the actions of his brother, is he going to make that decision to testify? Or is the family just going to convince him to not say anything?
I feel differently on it, on the individual, but because he's very young, I'm just going to keep it inside right now. I have other things I've seen.
Oh, wait. You can't leave us with that cliffhanger, girl. Hold up. Morris, thank you so much for the super chat. It says, I think he's going to try to plead, but he's not going to give his life. He's going to lowball them. They'll slap it down like, no, not today. What? Ooh. I was going to read some of these, but you don't want to say? You left me with the cliffhanger here.
I'll give you
an
one.
adult.
I'll give you one. There's an image, because, we're trying to start a career here. When you are making content and you decide to use in your music video, you take a person, sit them on a chair, and wrap them up in duct tape, cover their mouth with duct tape, like you're going to do something, cover their eyes, like you're kidnapping someone and stuff in your content after everything going on, and you're making decisions on certain things. Again, actions speak louder than words.
Mm-hmm.
I have a photo of that.
Enough said, girl. Enough said. I got you. Oh my gosh. Pinche Becky, thank you so much for gifting. Guys, if you have received some gifts, thank you so much. Estrella Mom Erin. Thank you. Y'all, make sure you guys are dropping hearts for the gifts. Sorry, I had to give those shout outs. I mean, dang. So, oh man.
I think
I
all
don't
his
know,
family
man.
is going to testify. I think they're all going to be called. I mean, we see in cases all the time how some people are there for two sentences. All right, you may go.
Who did he call though
think-
after? Remember what Beth said though, Abraham. Who did he call? And I quote, she says, and during that time, the defendant doesn't call 911. He doesn't call law enforcement. He apparently doesn't call any friends. Maybe he
bodyguard was
his
not there.
Family. He said maybe he calls his family. So to me, it's like if he divulged after the commission of this crime, if he divulged to whoever family, insert family, if he divulged this to family, somebody knew about the murder of Celeste right when it happened. That was his family. If we are to, she just let a cat out of this bag right here when she made that statement.
And if that's what I want to know, because with that, maybe he called, and then knowing the timeline that they were coming into town that next day, he doesn't get back home till 7 a.m. Were they coming to the house? Were they expecting to be driven around in that Tesla to get around? What, they were coming into town to see him.
And where
Did he
were
not
they?
let
for
them
the
in the
day.
home? Did he get a different like, how did that go down?
But wasn't it just for like one day? Because then they were off to
Because then they
New
were
York
off
in the
to,
morning.
yeah, but it seems like they would come in there and then all maybe head off together, because they went with him to a bunch of different, they would
Yeah.
travel with him on tour and various
See,
locations.
I think that if he had told his parents, he would have gotten away with it, because you have an adult who has a bigger, more, ability, I guess, to make more rational decisions. Not sorry, rational is not the word that I'm looking for, but would make a better decision than he did to just keep her there. They would have advised him not to do that. That's why I don't think his parents knew. If he called anybody, it would have been probably the bodyguard. Because
Look,
Do we
He
know
best
has
who
so
a
much time
bodyguard
to get rid
was?
of that
said
body.
family.
Post Sheldon? Do we know who a bodyguard was? Like an active? We don't know, right?
We don't, but I mean, we do know that on
Did
the
he
day they
have
served the
one?
search warrants, the day that they served the search warrants at his home, whenever they came and they moved out all the stuff, there were masked bodyguards there. So I mean, he did have bodyguards.
Oh, and the mother, I think that if the mother had found out then what he did, they would have started moving the funds way before then it actually happened. Remember,
Yeah,
they didn't.
that's a good point, because it would have, why change the deed the day her body, like the week her body was found? No, they, maybe it wasn't. I'm thinking he said family. Family could be the brother, a cousin from somewhere else. It's specifically, she says,
The
he
mother.
apparently doesn't call any friends. Maybe he calls,
okay.
maybe he calls his family. So to me, it's like, well, he called somebody.
True.
Damn, man, she let a big cat out of the
Just
bag with
left
that one. I
that,
said,
yeah.
oh man.
So much.
And
we don't
Blair
know.
doesn't correct that. Yeah, I mean, she doesn't rebut that or anything. I don't think it was. I think you're onto something when you say, well, why wouldn't they move the deeds before that?
Yeah, they
Well,
would have
somebody
done it
was
way
called.
before.
Well, here's the thing too that we learned as well, right? We learned, and I'm only going to say it because it's already out there publicly. David was behind on rent 4 months. And then we also learned in the transcripts too that his mother, Colleen, was paying 50% of his rent, I guess you can say,
Mhm.
or she was making the approvals for the payments. So 4 months behind on rent from September is when they moved out, would make it May of 2025, which is a few days after she's unalived. What's the reason in being behind? That's $80,000 that you're not
They were
paying.
that. I missed that. Maybe, but they were that far behind on paying rent.
I didn't know that she was that they were
Check the
behind.
first day, Marissa.
Okay.
It's on the first day. Check that
Really?
and see. Yeah. What did you send me,
Wow.
Joe? Tell me about this right here.
I mean, those are just photos of the security guards that were assisting with the move on the day that they moved everything out. So, and why are they masked? I don't know. It's a good question. Why are they masked? That guy is
Which one is
clearly a security guard.
ejaculus? I'm like, y'all.
Ejaculus was only there for 6 months. he wasn't there, I don't think, when this happened. Right?
I know, right? Which was ejaculus, y'all? Because I'm like, which one? Which one looks like an ejaculus to
Oh
y'all?
no, wait. Ejaculus could be one of those because he was
That's
there
what I'm
during
saying.
I think, yes, he wasn't there when the
Mhm.
unalivement, I don't think. Yeah, you're right. I think it's the one on the left. No, I have no idea. I'm just saying that.
They masked
idea
up.
why.
They were like, because this is how we know there's we can't find one picture of an ejaculus out there. It's one of
That's
these
not
guys
even-
right here.
That's not even masked up. That's like full. I'm not even here. You can't even see me.
It's like a ski mask. You
Don't see
guys.
me. Can't see me.
And it's just California. They're wearing ski masks.
Oh my God.
What?
In September? Come on now.
In September. What the heck?
If that's
Oh
not
my God.
suspicious.
There's nothing suspicious about this, y'all. Really, really. Cole's like, look.
Okay, I think didn't we get a description of Ejaculus? He was probably like 6 foot, 200 something. He was. I thought we got a description of him at one
I
point.
think we
no?
did. I think at some point there was one, but I mean, they both look like they're 6 something.
Yeah, they're 200 and something. Yeah, they both look.
Yeah.
Dude.
I don't know.
Wonder where they came from too. Who sent them there?
Interscope.
Is that
Interscope,
Is it
I mean-
Mogul? Is it Rob? Is it who sent
Mogul.
them there?
I'm
Did they
sorry,
pull
Vision
any-
Mogul was the
They
one.
pull anything out of that house?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't-
Vision Mogul was one.
I don't think it's Interscope because remember, Interscope is the big parent company that then
That's right.
gives authority to
umbrella.
then the little one is the umbrella. Yeah, so I don't think Interscope would have anything
Vision
to do with any of
Mogul.
this.
It's on the first day. Now I remember it was
Vision
on the
Mogul,
first day.
yes.
It was Vision Mogul.
Vision Mogul. We're eyeing you, and we're judging.
And we're judging very hard. Lord have mercy. Oh my God, y'all. Well, I mean, we're not done. We're still gonna keep going, I guess.
I'm curious to
until
hear what
something
other
happens.
people, anybody in the
Have to
chat,
say.
if they want to come up.
Yeah.
I did put
I
it
know
out there. I've been
anybody-
saying if anybody wants to come up. If not, then we're gonna call it a day. The thing's been
Come
pinned there
up, tell
for-
us what you think.
I know.
Don't be scared.
What did we miss? I cannot believe that Marissa caught that. What was it that you caught the other day? That very specific detail. I was like, oh shoot, that's.
Yes.
I forget what it was, but
Oh,
it was
Becky's
Wait,
here.
Where the defense said that what he did, or which
You got so many
What-
good things.
what
It was just
detail?
one specific one.
the detail
What
said
detail?
that it was a stab wound versus penetrating?
Yes.
Yes, when we had to stop.
Yes,
Yes,
that
yes.
was it.
Hey, Becky.
Hi everybody.
Oh, hi,
Becky,
Becky.
hello,
Hi.
hello.
Oh, all my favorite people are up here. Oh, I just want to tell you guys that Marissa was absolutely great when I was out there. Joe, Martha Shark. I mean, they helped this lady out every single time. So I do have to acknowledge
Amazing.
that. You guys were great. But I have so much in my head right now, and I just need to spill it out. The picture that you just showed, the guy on the right doesn't.
Oh, did she fall
Becky.
Becky.
off?
Becky.
Somebody pick
Oh,
up Becky.
Becky,
She
we-
fell down the stairs.
Oh,
Becky,
no.
now she dropped. Okay. Oh, I thought I saw Kim. Kim, it says your device is not connected. Kim, your device is not connected.
Plug it in,
Oh,
plug it
no.
in, Kim.
Plug in the device, Kim. It says I don't have a mic. Oh, girl. I know it says your device is not connected. You have to accept it all. Oh no. Try it again. See if you can come back in and out. Let me see. I'm gonna kick you out and come back in. Okay, now I see Becky. Hey, Becky. Becky, are you
Can
here?
you hear me now? Again, here we go with this whole
Yes.
bullshittery.
Yeah,
Hold on.
we can hear you.
We
can
got
hear
you.
Okay, let's see.
I
Can you
don't
guys hear me?
care.
I can't hear
We
you.
hear you now.
Of course.
We
This
hear
is a
you.
Becky
Yes.
issue. Let me go back out and come right back in.
Watch you do that again. I get out.
Uh-oh. All right.
She has to get what she has to.
I know. It's one of those things, the StreamYard thing. I'm like, StreamYard, if you promote that you can handle 10 people, please handle 10
Oh,
people.
I know, because they can't even handle 4. I
They
mean,
can even handle 4, man. It's like too much, you know? But there is another case. Maurice, I'm gonna hit you because you guys are in that area.
Mhm.
There's another case that I'm like, ooh, we gotta cover this. We gotta cover this. Teresa, how are you?
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Sound off, lady. Let me mute.
Okay. When I was like 27, I had a baby and gave it up for adoption. And I was in a like a support group with other people who had given up children. And the youngest girl in the group was 13. And I remember thinking that she was just so incredibly young. And I just couldn't even fathom the thought of it. Apparently, her boyfriend was in his 20s. And I think she wanted to just go out and find him and have another baby. But I just think she went through so much. It's just awful.
Yeah, it's so young. And I think the best part was, at least in this, that is Beth Silverman consistently throughout would remind everybody in that courtroom her age. She's 13 years old while this is happening.
Yeah,
yep,
definitely.
she sure did.
Because it's unimaginable.
I remember when the young girl had her baby. I was working at the hospital at the time, and most of the group had gone to a retreat somewhere else. So I made sure that I spent time with her, trying to make her feel good about herself and okay while she was in there. But it's really rough. You know, it was the kind of place where you would send your child to have their baby before they went back home, you know?
Wow.
Just like a separate, like a facility almost? Like just
Well, I
like a
mean,
shelter type thing, or what?
well,
Just
no,
curious.
more like they took like high school kids. And there was a high school, I live in Oklahoma, and there was a high school here for pregnant girls. So they would go to that high school and they would do everything, and they would stay with a family that would help them. But I just think that she loved him so much, and she would have done just about anything for him, and he really used it. That breaks my heart.
I agree. He really took advantage of that because you can tell that she really loved him and was willing to put up with a lot, meaning lying to her family and doing all the craziness. That's what makes it even more sadder.
Well, thank you guys for listening to me, and I love all of you. All of you are awesome, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa, for coming
Okay.
up.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, Becky.
And sorry, I keep forgetting to shut down my VPN when I come on here. And so my VPN is like, bitch, you need to get the hell off of there with this. Anyways, I was
Go ahead and
asking
sign
about
off.
the picture because on the picture that you guys just showed with the guards, the one on the right looks like he has a badge. And it also looks like he has a gun on the side. So I'm wondering if the one in the left is the security guard.
I thought too. I thought one of them was like a cop at first.
Or he
It's one of
sure
those
looks like
fake.
one.
It's one of those, like a lot of bodyguards, a lot of Securitas and all these people, they can wear what looks to be law enforcement, but they're not.
But
They're
wouldn't
also
that be impersonating an officer?
No,
No.
because a lot of
Okay.
security people do. Yeah, I mean, Securitas, for example, you have gun trained security. They're trained with
Mhm.
weapons, right? And they can also
Yeah.
wear like a badge, but they're supposed to be security is supposed to be a visible agent when you hire one. They're supposed to make themselves as visible as possible, so it looks like law enforcement. But as long as they're not representing themselves as such, they're fine.
And then the other comment that I had was about the parents knowing, not knowing. You know what? Nobody wants to believe that this beautiful child that you took out of the hospital can possibly be a monster. Nobody wants to believe that the so-called relationship is actual abuse. I mean, maybe that was one way for the parents to rationalize all of this and say, not my kid. Nah. By the way, she's a little too young for you. Maybe you should stay away from her. I don't know if his parents knew to what extent the relationship went. I know that they're the parents and we all want to blame them and be like, well, they knew, they didn't know, they probably knew about the friendship, possible relationship. And I use that in quotes, by the way. Nobody wants to believe that their loved one is capable of this.
I agree.
You know, because I know where, and then I had seen another comment in the comment section about the parents. Why was it that we are all kind of piling on his parents and not on Celeste? They've
Hmm.
gotten plenty of criticism. Trust and believe. They've gotten a lot of criticism and a lot of blame. Again, you know, and this is more or less of the explanation to some of this cultural stuff that we're talking about. Um, my parents did not allow me to even wear makeup until I was 15. Dating? Are you kidding? My mother thought I was dating an 18-year-old when I was 15. And no, I was not. I didn't even like the guy, but she put a stop to it immediately because when he would come around the house, my mother would go out there and be like, she's young. So it's not always a Latino thing to allow your kids to be out there partying and
Hmm.
stuff at the age of 13. That being said, it's also not unheard of our kids are dating an older guy, but they're not having sex, guys. They're not up there. No, it's just dating. They're just going out. That's another way that we kind of want to believe that our kids are still pure until marriage, you know? So is it a cultural thing? I think up to some point where you believe that you're still de mano sudada is what we say. You know, when you're walking around just kind of holding hands. Yeah, they're boyfriend and girlfriend, but they're just holding hands. There's nothing sexual going on. So they believe. So that's another thing that I wanted to kind of bring up, that no, we're not walking around allowing our 11, 12, 13-year-old to go out there and be sexually active. A
Yeah.
lot of it is they're dating, they're courting. And if he's 18 and she's 15, there's nothing wrong with it because they're not getting married just yet. They're not having sex just yet. That's gonna happen until she's 18. That's another way that I know that in our culture it is seen as. You know, we don't give the stamp of approval for our 13-year-olds to go around and just being um, sex
And
crazy
run
out
crazy.
there. Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to kind of touch on that as well. So those are my thoughts. And then the last thing, and then I'll jump off, is if you guys are unable to make it to the 31st, due to kids drop off time, whatever, I am more than willing to go out there, get a ticket. If I'm lucky enough to get the ticket, I will hand it over to you guys because in all honesty,
Oh,
you guys do. And I mean that, you know, Rabbit, you know that I told you that one of the many reasons I went out there, you have been covering this case. I didn't know about this case here in LA. If it hadn't been for you, you know, our community, it's always left behind. Our community is always underserved. And you did what many news reporters out there wouldn't touch on. And so I honestly mean it when I say, Marissa and Joe and anyone else up here on this panel, that if you guys need to go run your kids and do the mom stuff and the dad stuff, I'll be more than happy to get in there, grab the ticket, hand it over to you guys, because I'm gonna tell you, Joe and Marissa have been doing an excellent job at this. I know my weaknesses and I know my strength. My strengths is in supporting people, being there as much as I can. My weaknesses are I'm not good at this whole reporting stuff. I just give you guys what I
no.
see,
You don't
and it's
second
not.
guess yourself. Don't do that. You did
Yeah.
excellent.
You did
You know,
amazing.
you
Did amazing.
you did, man. You just gotta,
Thank
I
you.
told you, jump, let's go, let's just do it. Because that's just how you, sometimes you just gotta, and it's one of those things where it's like, well, do I do it? Nope, I don't have time to second guess myself. Just do
But
it.
that still holds truth. Okay, let me just thank you for that, Rabbit. I'll put it this way. I know my strengths. I know my weaknesses. The information that Joe and Marissa were taking out there, and I'm saying, and I'm using them because they're here in LA, and but that stands true, obviously, for you and for anyone else. But I know that Joe and Marissa were really, I mean, they came out and they did an excellent job. You guys have been really invested in this case. I've been on and off of it because certain things are a little triggering to me. Especially those text messages. Oh my God, those text messages. But I'll be happy to do that for you guys, and then you guys can go in and come back and just give me. Look, I'll be your cheeseman lady. I'll be out there and I'll be like, and Beth, because they can tell you that I talk to I may not know their names. I talk to everyone the same. No one is more important than the next. That's just me. So I'll be more than happy to be your hallway reporter, cheesemaker, your gossip column. And then finally, again, I just want to thank you. Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you, Becky.
You do it with passion, compassion, empathy. You do it so well, and that's what I love about your channel. That you bring it in. You touch on the hard subjects. You touch on the hard cases. And you do it with a lot of empathy and understanding. And I think that's what it can be very easy for us who are on this side to just sit back and criticize everything from the parents to the bodyguards to everybody else. But you have a way of giving it to the ones that truly deserve it while still having compassion for the victims. And that is something that I truly admire about you.
Gotcha. Well, thank you, Becky. I am going to, you and I will talk in the back behind the scenes, but I'm going to drop you because I have Infamous Truth, who's been waiting up here too as well.
I will go ahead and drop off and see you guys in chat.
Becky, I'll hit you up though.
Bye,
because
Becky.
we got to talk about that date. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Andale. Bye. Y'all check out Pinche Becky, please. You guys, she was instrumental in helping out. Hey, Infamous. And by the way, let me just say, side note, Miss K, we'll talk about this here in a little bit, but go ahead, Infamous.
I just want to say thank you guys for just handling this with respect and just the respect that it deserves. And Celeste, just the attention that it deserves. And I, my loyalty will never waver from your channel, because you like Pinche Becky said, you show so much respect and compassion and empathy to this, to all the cases, and the way you carry yourself with, just with a lot of, dignity, and I respect that and I admire that about you. And I don't know, I don't know, I might have not heard, but did you guys hear that they Law and Crime, they talked about Pinche Becky?
Yes,
I did.
We did.
Yeah,
that brought that up to her.
Oh,
yeah,
I missed that.
Yeah, they talked about it, but I just wanted to just say thank you guys for just handling this, with so much respect and just giving it the attention that it deserves. And I just, I thank you guys, a million times over. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so
that's
much.
so sweet.
Amazing. Thank you. Is that Miss Kim up there too? I see her there
sure
too.
is. I realized I didn't have a name or anything because I had to. It was a long story short. I had to download the app. Okay.
Thank you for shortening that long story.
It was a process. That's for sure. It was a process. Not
Y'all
as
are
bad
so
as this
funny.
case though. So what was the question?
I don't know. You tell us. I mean,
Okay.
man, I
All
lost
right.
track. But go ahead.
All right.
What are your thoughts about everything?
I have thoughts. I have lots of thoughts, as we all know. I'm quite vocal in the chat for sure. Before I start, though, I just want to again thank the panel because these are such important topics to have like this discussion, even as hard as it is, I personally think it's needed, because to do this alone, like research this material or digest this on your own, is not possible. It's so good it's so much better to have people talking about it together as a group and hearing everybody's thoughts and feelings, because it opens the door to have a better understanding of things that happen in our own lives. Not that I'm comparing this to us to this case, but I'm just saying the reminders. But anyways, long story short, this is really needed. And thank you guys for being here and being great adversaries of the court process and having open minds and being able to see all the sides, because it's needed. So thank you all, because you've been amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let me take a sip here. So I think, though, the first thing I think I want to address is well, David himself. Let's just start there. Like, what would cause a person to behave in this manner? Like, because at my core, I'm like about how people get to where they are, if that makes any sense. Even as bad and as monstrous as he was he born this way? Like, was this something parental? I don't know. But so, like, and that makes me question, like Marissa was talking about, the brother, But so what causes that? I don't know, but that's just something I've been thinking about. Like, I can't wrap my head around the gravity of the things he did to her, and I just can't. It's unfathomable for all of us that are here. That there's just no way to understand it. And I also think that maybe the parents aren't showing up to court. That was my other part of the process, is like, maybe they didn't show up to the court because maybe they don't want to see it. Maybe they knew kind of, and it was cognitive dissonance and they didn't want to see it. But I also think that they knew things were going on. I really do. I don't know if he was completely truthful, but I know that they had a feeling. I mean, as mothers, we know when our kids are doing things or not doing things, right? It's kind of just inherent in us. But then skipping really a quick ahead to, like, I really feel that the catalyst when agreed, right, is when she said she wanted to come there and David said no, and then she decided to come there. I'm trying to make it short here. Am I making any sense?
No, I completely understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We get it.
Okay. So she said in a text, I can't be friends with you anymore. I might have a little wrong, but I can't be friends of you anymore because you're with Neo and Celeste. So that tells me that she didn't say friends, she said with, right? Am I getting that wrong? Because to me, with means intimately, if you want to call it that, right? So that's why I think, like, why else would she want to end it? Like, you can't be friends with him when she wanted to have her own friends, right? So why would she deny him that? She said with, and that really sticks with me. So that's kind of like, and I think this was coming. I think that he knew he was going to go on tour. I think she was aging out on him, which is a horrible thought to think. Like, she maybe was getting too old because she started to have her autonomy. She started pushing back. And I think that he felt that. And he was losing control of her. And of course, she was getting older. So that's how I feel on that, which is, I don't know if it's accurate or not. I guess we'll never know, but I just feel that there was something going on between them. I don't know who else thinks that, but I do. Because why else would she say something like that? Like, why would you tell somebody you can't be friends? Like, I can't be friends with you because you're with this person and that person. With is loaded, right? That word can mean anything.
Yeah.
But if it was friends, wouldn't she have said friends?
I think it's it's hard because, again, you had a 14 at that point, right? Still a 14-year-old child texting. So some of the texts were not like, we had shortened forms of what they're trying to say. Like, if you want to say what you mean, we get WYM. Like, it's sometimes trying to interpret a different language in text messaging from, a young child. So that's what's, some of it was not always clear. Like you said, did it say Neo with Celeste or in, yes, because there was another sentence that was unclear too in their text. And I feel like we're missing context and other text surrounding it. They gave us a clip, and some days we would be given, this is the date, this is the time, and we'd hear about 3 text messages. And we know that there's way more than 3 text messages that were just sent surrounding that. So it feels like we are missing some more of what that conversation was, especially those 24 hours like span leading up. There's 1,200 text messages sent.
Wow. Well, thank you for the context, because that
Yes.
really just tells us how little we really do know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we're hearing everything yet.
Yeah.
And there's probably a lot more that we just don't know. That's
can't-
why it's
been-
like, yeah. probably a lot
buckle
we don't
up,
know.
get your therapy, do what you got to do, because this case, if we're even allowed to hear it, and maybe there's parts we shouldn't, a part of me kind of feels like, we do deserve to know the truth, but where's the point where the truth causes harm to other people unneedlessly? So there's all that, but that's just my psychological psych work that I did, you know what I mean? So I don't
I
know,
do
but
agree with your observation. I think with implies something much closer, a closer relationship than the normal. So I understand that. I get it.
because there was jealousy there, right? Because she couldn't be, even if she said couldn't be friends with him, what would, and then she complained that they didn't get to do anything in the same breath. And I know that she's a child and they have their own perception of things. But she was really trying to find, like, I feel like after she got pregnant, that's when she really realized, like, like what it is to be a
Yeah.
mother, because there's something that changes in a woman, um, physiologically and emotionally when you become a mother. It's like, it's bad enough when you have your period, your moods are all over the place, right? But when you become a mother, everything has a different lens to it. And so I think that's when she really came to the realization, and maybe because I don't know the text, but I'm speculating here, that perhaps that's when she came to the realization, like, I'm done, like, I can't, you made me get rid of my embryo, is what she called it, right? And then,
And she kept reminding him, right?
Yes.
Like
Mhm.
yeah,
I
because he
caged my
wouldn't,
baby for you.
yeah, because he wouldn't let her call it a baby. Remember, he wouldn't let her call it a baby,
Yeah.
which
Oh
is,
man.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
that was the
interesting.
part. It was in the text message. It was in the text. Yes, so it's crazy work.
it is. But at the end of the day, if we could all just like I try to think, like, what is the purpose behind knowing all this? Like, how does this help us? How can this change us? And I think it's just it's for me, because this is who I am. For me, it's about taking away something that there doesn't always we're not always going to have the answers in our life, and nothing is going to make sense for us, and that's how life is sometimes. And being able to live in that unknown, it's like, because we can't tell anybody what to think. But I'm not just, this has nothing to do with Dave and Celeste. This is just about the gravity of this in relation to our own lives, not what we did or if we're relating to that, just the gravity of it, like the intensity of it. It's like, it's a good reminder of us, like, we have choices, right? We all have choices. And that's a huge reminder to us. Like, we all have the choice to make. We can be on the bridge. We don't have to be left. We don't have to be right. We can live on that bridge and explore it, right? And so through life, that's what it's about, right? So if we could take that into if we can bring that into our own lives and have an understanding with our own selves, the shit that we went through, right? Maybe that can change us all in a positive way. And that's why these conversations are important, because it helps us to come to terms with our own issues, because we all have them, that's for sure, So
No
that's,
one's perfect. You're right.
yeah, that's why
Yes.
that's one of the things I appreciate about being and interested in true crime, because for me, I'm into I geek out on the psychology of it, obviously. And seeing all sides of it, as much as I don't like it, because two things can be true at once, like, there's two things that can be true. You can have empathy for someone and still hate what they did. And I'm not saying I have any empathy for David whatsoever. but I have empathy for
Zero.
Celeste, and I have
Zero.
empathy for her parents. You know.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you so much, Kim, for coming
Yeah.
up and giving us your 2 cents. I think I have somebody else in the back.
Okay.
Is this
Thank you,
Infamous
Kim.
again? All right. Thank you, Kim. Shout out
Thank
to
you.
Kim, y'all. Kim is
Bye.
always in the chat.
Bye, Kim.
Kick me out because I don't know how to get out of here.
I will kick you out, my love. Thank you so much. Oh, she kicked herself out. Infamous, did you have something else to say?
Yeah, I forgot. I have the ADHD too, so I got that bug. But I just wanted to say that I had my daughter at 15, and the man that it was the father of that baby of my daughter was 21 years old. And I think just raising the awareness of this and like having the conversation is, I couldn't even imagine my daughter, being in that position, and it made me more aware. And now that I'm a mother myself, she's 30 now, but like now that, I couldn't even imagine or, her being in that position and knowing that there were adults that could have probably intervened, in the situation that I was in at 15, but at 15 we think sometimes we think we know everything, and we know, and we don't, we don't have the cognitive thinking that we should, because we're not mature enough yet. But I just wanted to share that I just appreciate you, just bringing and raising that awareness and things like that, because just what has happened, to what happened to Celeste. And it's like we can't rationalize, because we think with rational minds, and it's hard for us to wrap our head around what happened, because it's irrational thinking. Just what happened and how he, did, what happened and what he did to her. So I just wanted to share that, it's a hard thing. And when you have adults that, that probably could have intervened in the situation that I was in. And now I'm like, how could a 21-year-old have any interest in somebody so young, And it's a hard thing, but I kind of raised myself and things like that. I just wanted to share that story, and just thank you for raising awareness. And that's about it. I forgot to add that in.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So much. Well, thank you so much, Infamous. Shout out to you, and thank you so much for supporting the channel, y'all. So I did see a comment. I did pin it. I'm sorry. We were trying to get so shout out to Miss Kim. She says, damn, you guys see you were featured on Ross's latest video. He's pissed that people are correcting that he said only Celeste dad signed a travel permission slip. Well, I mean, we're not correcting. We're just reading the transcripts, and the transcripts say what they say, so no shade towards anybody or anything like that. That's not the intent at all. We're just reading what was said. And by the way, we did shout him out when there was misinformation posted by the New York Post, and it was just to correct whatever the record was.
Yeah, I think also being in that courtroom, like I said, and Becky said, I don't think anyone should be on him about anything that he said, just Celeste that signed it, because those notes, my hand was like stuck after that day, so cramped. And I shared my notes with you. You saw my notebook. I had just from those days over, it was like 76 pages of notes. You were trying to capture everything as quick as you could to get it out as best as possible. So yeah, that we know that it was signed. That's all. We know that it was signed.
That's all.
It doesn't.
And I think ultimately,
anything.
there's nothing wrong, to put that out there. Shout out to like I said, I'm impressed.
And we don't know the context of the video.
Yeah, we don't know the context.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it yet. So, I'm impressed by his. First of all, his trying, because he was the first out here to put out a good portion of the text messages. I think that's important, because that wasn't something that the media was doing, and I give him his flowers for that. But other than that, y'all, that there's no shade. To me, it's like, shout out to him. He is just as interested in trying to get as much truth out as all of us. So, if the transcript said one thing, I wasn't there. I'm going by what the documentation says. It's all good.
That's the part that blows my mind, right? Like, we're all after the same cause.
Yeah.
And
let's stay focused on that.
Let's stay focused on that.
Oh, I can't hear.
Yeah, I agree. You can't hear Abadam?
No,
you can't hear?
I can hear you.
Can y'all hear everybody else?
Can you hear me?
I can hear him.
Marissa. I can't hear Joe.
Say something, Joe.
Joe.
You can't hear me?
Oh. I'll leave and come back.
Leave it. It's like, I'll leave and come back. So, like I said, this is going to happen. And to me, it's like, I'm just, you know, it's all good. Shout out to him. It's all good. I'm not here to throw any kind of shade.
When I was at the courthouse too, I met him. You know, we were the last two people to go into the courthouse. He was the one that went in before me. I was the very last person to go in. You know, he's a cool guy. He even offered to buy me a drink down at the cafeteria. So, you know, he's covering the same case. We're all after the same thing. You know, I mean, I can understand why specifically for this particular topic, people are, you know, a little upset. And for those of you guys who haven't seen it, I guess it's because there was denial of who signed the notary and
that's it.
The statement with conviction. But, you know, like Marissa said, I mean, I did not take, you know, as detailed notes as Marissa did, but my hand was dying. And I couldn't get every word. So I can imagine like everybody else who was in the courtroom trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Everyone was doing their best.
Yeah. I think what we're underestimating too is like I said, it's kind of like this, y'all. You know, the people that were in the court, between the streamers and the journalists, you guys were confronted with like a bunch of images and a bunch of information. You didn't know what to expect. What do you capture? So I would imagine that it's very easy to, you know, not get something correct. Have some grace, whether it's Ross or whoever it is. I mean, I don't think that there's this intentional misreporting of things. I don't think that that's what I got from him. If he got something, yeah, man, give him a break, y'all. The guy broke down on the video after seeing I don't know how y'all are able to. I would have needed a, you know, some kind of leave after that. That's what I'm saying. It's like, give some grace. It's all good. It's cool if you correct him. Nobody's bashing. I certainly am not. We're just reading what's on the record, and you can't get mad at the record, right? Because I didn't write the record. I'm just reading it, and we're just reading
record
it.
is the
That's all.
record.
The
Probably
record is a record.
Reddit people are brutal behind a keyboard.
You know.
But, you know, they're not in the courtroom trying to take notes.
It's difficult, man. It's difficult. I mean, you know. So again, shout out to him. No shade to him. You know, that's not our intent at all.
I had no idea who he was until like a week ago. And I saw his videos. And I love the video that he puts out because he breaks it down so well. He puts the perspective of several people. But even no matter if you didn't see the transcript, we know, and those probably those who know about travel and stuff like that, there's no way that one parent can give the consent of a minor to travel. That never happens.
I traveled before as a minor. They had both of my parents' signature too. I remember that.
They need both. If the parent is in the child's life, whether the parents are together or not, you still need to have the father and the mother's signature on that document for them to travel, unless the father's probably in jail or deceased or full custody.
I was gonna say I have full legal calls. Custody, I don't need any other
It's different,
signature.
right? So international too, because I remember when I was young, I needed mom and dad's signature international travel. But unless there's custody, and then you would supply whatever paperwork or something for that, my understanding. So you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Like y'all are right.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not here to we're not here to do. I told y'all, like I with the whatever drama I address, I already addressed it already. We're not going back and forth. Support whoever you want to. Please do, especially in this case, because it's too much, y'all. Like mentally draining. I'm not even there, and I already feel drained by it, guys. So I would imagine. Yeah. So, but guys, we're gonna have to end because I have to do several shout outs. But I want you guys, all of these people here on this up in here, get them it's street tacos, a cerveza, a shot of tequila. Yo, like I owe these people so much.
Treats.
Please, I know, get some treats. Shout out to the witness. She played every witness in LA County. Every witness. Shout out to First Liberties Podcast was not here. Shout out to Pinche Becky, Sylvia, Lala, my supporter, everybody y'all that supported this week. Y'all have been amazing. The Cash App, Super Chat, PayPal, everything to make all this. BJ, that surprise witness, SF Investigates as well. Abram, thank you. Flojo, thank you, y'all. Like, we wouldn't have been able to do this. Now, like I said, there's another case that I'm looking at out of LA. I'm going to contact you guys individually because you guys are in that area. And I really want us to move towards having conversations, panels where the community could talk about, like, well, I agree with this or I don't agree with this, or because I mean, you'd be amazed how rich we are in experience. We have a lot of good people in my community and a lot of communities. So I want to bring that more and if you're a creator, I did put a PSA out there for the Tupac D4VD trial. If you're in that area, hit me up, especially if you're a content creator, hit me up, because we could do some collaboration, and I think we could really bring some attention. That shout out to Law and Crime, but the Law and Crime, they don't got nothing on us, I'm just saying, we the people's people. We're the people's people. We the people are the people's people. Okay. All right. Anyways, well, thank you guys. Thank you. I did link all your channels in the description box.
Thank you, Rabbit, for having us on here.
Thank you for having us.
Y'all have a great Sunday. Okay, thank you. I'll hit you guys up in the behind the scenes. Okay.
Say bye, Rob.
Bye, Rocco. Look at Rocco.
Rocco.
What's the cat's name?
Kiki. This is Kiki.
Rocco and Kiki. Oh my God.
Should I bring Yoshi up here too?
Yeah, well, you might.
Come here, Yoshi.
I'm not bringing my dog here. He drives me
crazy.
crazy.
These are the palate cleansers.
My miniature poodle does the most. I can't. He's somewhere over there.
I said the word treats, and she suddenly woke up and she said, "Excuse me, what?"
Rocco looks like he's spoiled, though.
Oh my God,
he is spoiled.
I just woke him up from his nap.
He is very spoiled.
He looks like he just woke up.
Right, Rocco? He's spoiled.
He does.
He's getting a Lego figure done after him. I'm getting like the Lego sculpture done after him.
Can you make one for like you could do a personalized Lego figure?
Yeah.
For your pet?
Yeah. All you gotta do is buy the pieces. But what I'm doing is I'm having somebody from Lego help me work with like their Dalmatian model. So that I can tell me how to modify it, and I bought the pieces so I can replace with his colors.
Oh, now that's pretty cool.
Because they have the 101 Dalmatian puppy, yeah. So it's gonna be hard, but I'm gonna try it.
It's like a personalized Lego. Oh my God, that's so cute. Oh, look at him.
Not to mention,
how old is he though?
He's 10.
Oh, okay, he's older.
He's an old man.
Right, yeah, Marissa, yours is a kitten, right?
Yeah, tomorrow she'll be 11 weeks. Because we had just lost our 15-and-a-half-year-old baby.
Oh.
So,
Floja, what about yours? How old is yours?
Is 2 going on 3.
Wow.
So, just a little baby.
So young. I had a Yorkie. He was 12 or 15. I think he was 15 probably. I forgot his age. But he passed like a couple of years ago.
Aww.
Yeah.
I've always wanted one of those, but I feel like they're just so,
Which one? What?
The Yorkies, they're very temperamental.
No, oh my God, my Yorkie was the most docile thing. He was like a cat. Like
really?
I kid you not. He was like a cat. He would not bark. And this is a Chihuahua. They bark a lot. Rocco does not. Unless he hears like something, a noise outside or whatever, he does not bark at all. And he came as a baby. And I think he learned that from Max, because Max was like a cat. Some people would come here, they're like, "You have a dog?" They wouldn't even hear him sometimes. He was so docile, and he learned from Rock. From Max,
cute!
Right?
How cute!
If you can hear me, I can't hear anymore. I think my cat.
Oh, you can't hear anymore?
Headphone.
Just why we don't permit pets in the live stream, y'all. This is the kind of stuff. So I'm still on the mindset. We got to clip that clip where the cat was flying in the live stream. I'm like, what the hell was that? That was perfect. That was so perfect. Oh my God. Well, anyways,
well, have a good Sunday, everyone. Thank you.
You guys have a great Sunday.
Thank you, Rabbit.
Thank you, guys. Oh my gosh, y'all are amazing. Thank you. Bye, guys. Marissa, I'm gonna remove you. She's probably like, the sound is off. All right, guys, I gotta do some shout outs because you guys are amazing. Thank you for being here. First of all, thank you for supporting. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Y'all, we are not done. We're still reporting. Of course, new information comes out. We'll talk about it for sure. Laura, thank you so much for becoming a member. Shout out to you. Nebby, thank you for the flowers. Jessica, member for 4 months. Shout out to you. Savia, thank you so much for the gold coins. Amanda, thank you. Nay, none your business. Thank you so much for the silver. Amanda, thank you. My girl Tiff, thank you. Tara, thank you. Tara, thank you. Shaza, thank you for the super chat. Tara, thank you. Nebby, thank you. Darcy, member for 19 months. Shout out to you. Gracias, Conejita and panel guests. I'm here for it all. Thank you, love. Oh my God. Jay, thank you, member for 7 months. Thank you. 5 Divine, thank you for the Sunday. 5 Divine, thank you for the mic drop. Andressa, thank you for the flowers. Thank you. Karen, thank you. My boo, shout out to my mod Pika. Shout out to my mod, Pika, man, riding all through the whole week. Thank you, Pika. Thank you, Pika. Thank you so much for this, Pika. Thank you, Nebby. Thank you, James. Thank you for this super chat. The joke. I said I just hired a new Polish limo driver called Mr. Pickup and drop off. Thank you. Shout out to James. Oh my gosh. Shout out to our resident comedian. Ramona, thank you so much for the thumbs up. Nebby, thank you for the flowers. Tartar, thank you so much for the flowers. Thank you. Morris, also for the super chat and the flowers. Thank you for the flowers. Whew, Flower Girl, thank you. Tara, thank you. Alabama Mama, thank you so much for becoming a member. Aaron, Estella Moms, Aaron, gifted memberships. Also, thank you so much for this floating heart. Nebby, thank you. Tiffany, thank you. Andressa, thank you. Soy Richie, thank you so much. And Emmy, thank you so much for this. Thank you, everyone. And BJ as well. She introduced me to your channel. Shout out to BJ. Shout out to Miss Amber out there, y'all. All right, y'all. I gotta go. Thank you for supporting the channel. Y'all hit the like button. Let me know your thoughts. And don't forget to hype up the video. And again, shout out to the panelists. Thank you. Bye, guys.